Hello, good evening, everyone. How are we doing? I know we're a bit early. I know we said we'd be live at 7, but sure, look at. Uh, I've been kind of relaxed, so I haven't really done much basically today, basically, let's put it that way. So that's why I have more time, basically. Usually I'd be, would be, I'd do a few minutes before, not a half an hour, but, it's because I haven't really been doing much now since I came back, basically. I'm only starting to get back into stuff today, basically. With some money back there, I'm forgetting what day of the week it is, Thursday evening, basically Friday morning, basically. And basically now I'm only starting to get other stuff out of the way, basically, that I need to get done because there's a lot to be done. Especially because it was the worst possible time ever to go anywhere. Let's put it that way. Now I'm sure there's a lot of questions, etc., etc. We get there. Let's put it that way. We'll get there. We'll probably be live for an hour and a bit anyway tonight. There's a good bit to talk again, along with the elections and stuff like that. There's a lot to talk about. We'll not talk about it all tonight, but we probably might be live Tuesday or Monday. We'll see how we go to make up for last week. One day last week we didn't go live. See, long story short, with the live streams over there, it was just awkward, I suppose, on the phone and stuff like that. Sometimes it did work and sometimes it didn't work. When the football's on, yeah, I know the Euros are on. I know. I'm not really interested in watching. I know a few people are watching it. So it's probably bad timing, but we were supposed to be live at 7. How are you doing, Yusuf? Anyway, how about you? It's been a while since we're talking. Let me see. I'm just trying to remember because there's that much that's happened now the last week and a bit. It's hard to remember. But I probably shouldn't. When did you get back? I only got back Thursday night. You could say Friday morning, basically. So yeah, today is Saturday evening. So a good bit, obviously. Obviously, when you're away for a good bit, and especially with the elections stuff, that was a lot going on. Hello, Fiona. How are we keeping? But yeah, no, it's a lot going on in the background. So yeah, it took me a while to get back up to speed with everything. Tobacco there, no. I bought no cigarettes or anything like that. Nothing at all like that, no. It's not that common smoking in Finland, to be honest. It isn't that common. You don't see that many people smoking. I've probably only seen about 4 or 5 in all the time I was there. People that smoked. That's to be totally honest. Maybe there was more, but that's all I've seen. And then especially in the shops too, you don't see people buying them. Because I presume they're just extremely expensive. The same as the alcohol. Like one bottle of a can or something like that. One can in Finland would be nearly €10. Yeah, but there's a lot more to come. There's videos to be edited and stuff like that of different things. We will get through that. It's going to take a long time. It must be about 10 to 15 hours of footage I have of different things. Along with that, there wasn't uploaded, etc., etc. So there's a lot of footage to try and work out. I have to work out that too, but it's going to be a while before we get everything out. Because there's a lot more footage and stuff in the background. But no, I don't think you would have got the very strict now on the border. The border. It's not easy to get in or out of Finland. They're very, very strict. They're not like here, you can just walk in. Heavily armed border guards, etc., etc. So the whole way. Well, it wasn't that bad with me, but for other people that wasn't EU citizens, they were going through the whole everything under the sun with them. They were finding that every nook and cranny what was in the suitcase before they let them into the country. So no, it's a lot more strict on now in Finland than walking like in Dublin airport. No one, the Irish customs didn't give a shit, to be totally honest. So, but yeah, I suppose again nobody really get into Finland in a hurry anyway. Yeah, let's put that way. But yeah, no, there's a lot to talk about. But yeah. But how are we keeping anyway? I know I disappeared during the local like that. See, long story short, I explained the live stream the other night. This was planned literally when Santa Marin was in government. Was literally this is back a year ago. So I was contacted by somebody from the Social Democratic Party to come over for Helsinki Day. Uh, and me, I knew the election was sometime in June, right? I knew the election was sometime in June. I knew that a year ago. I didn't know what date in June. That was the problem. So I was supposed to go for 2 weeks. I'm supposed to really be still there, to be totally honest, in Finland. But caution, I went to the emphasize of caution when I was like the holiday when I was planning it, etc., etc. Um, because I wanted to vote in the election, etc., etc. And would you believe the day beforehand the election happened, and I only knew about it in January, and I was going to cancel it all, but as the travel agent said, it'd be the biggest fool ever. Because I only get 95%. I would only get basically 5% of my money back, and the rest of it just go down the drain, basically. Because unless I was sick or dying or something, that's the only reason why you could get a full refund, etc., etc. So I was very annoyed about that. I'm sure you probably know. Mighty annoyed about during the election. The one time I ever left the state before an election, I was mighty pissed about it. To be totally honest. But yeah, the weather was lovely. We're blessed. I literally got in Finland. Imagine you got a bit of. I got sunburn a bit in Finland, in Helsinki, because it was 25 degrees at one stage in Helsinki. It was great weather. One evening was a bit rainy, but that was it. But literally, sunboard in Helsinki, in Finland, just to say. And it was literally raining here for a good bit of the weekend. In Finland, it was like the Bahamas or instead. Hello, Kiva. How are we doing? But how are we keeping? But yeah, literally got sunburn in Finland too. My face is a bit red. I'm sure you can see. Because I literally was everywhere. Like literally only got about 2 hours sleep a night. At most, I say from that week I was there in Finland. Um, I probably only got about 8 hours sleep, and I was going the rest of the hours basically. Because I had many things to do and many things to see and all that. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot I could go into. Uh, well, make videos and other stuff and talk about it, etc., etc. As I said, there's a lot of footage. There's about 10 to 15 hours, I say, of maybe if you add it all together, maybe it's probably only about 10. I don't know actually, but it's about 10 like of unreleased footage. We're going to edit it and stuff and put it out on different things. So it's going to be a lot more stuff to come now in the next few weeks. And there's a few more photos I didn't put out too. See, it was quite awkward because again, I'm used to computers instead of using my phone basically, because I didn't have a computer with me. So it was quite awkward because I'm used to my computer or doing things. But we work it out now in the next week. We talk about a few things anyway. It's come. I'm grand, thank you. I'm 100%. It's good to hear that you're keeping well. It's kind of been a mixed day here now today. It's been raining and then it's sun at the moment, as you can see behind me. But yeah, there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of videos to come. There's a lot more to say about it as well. We have a good again. If you have any questions, I suppose we can answer them. A lot of things I explain now in a few weeks to come. There's more video to explain things more better, I suppose. Because the live stream I done over in Finland was it wasn't great. Let's put it that way. I didn't plan it out as best. Because see, I was using my mobile roaming. I didn't know the internet in the hotel wouldn't really be suitable for live stream. It was okay for other stuff, but it wasn't suitable for live stream, especially the quality I was using my phone. It was the highest quality on my phone and stuff like that, so it wasn't the greatest. Got dredged the walk. Yeah, it rained a good bit too today. Yeah, like it did rain one day when I was in Helsinki one evening, and I got dredged. But then again, the rest evening was just beautiful. Then it was just kind of a heavy downpour, I suppose, and then it was okay. So I know I can feel your pain. In terms again, and obviously when I go back to work too, it's probably going to be drowned 100 times over. Because it's a terror that is not really the weather, and it's a terror that you're on the way to a country that is literally has about 30 inches of snow in the winter and it's literally 25 degrees, hotter than Ireland. It doesn't make much sense. And then here it's just pissing all the time, even during the summer. It doesn't make much sense, but anyway. Well, so there's a lot to get into. Again, we'll get into the elections and stuff like that. I tried to follow as much as I could, but obviously it was hard trying to find a few minutes here and a few minutes there, and etc. etc. And obviously the midnight sun didn't really help me either because I was very confused waking up when I didn't get sleep. When I woke up, I didn't know what time of the day it was because it literally bright fucking the whole day and whole night. Only for about 2 hours the sun went down. Um, Even with the curtains pulled, it was just that bright. It was just too bright. Um, like it's insane. Suppose we, yeah. So there's a lot of videos. Just to say it again, there's a lot of videos that come on different things, like I record and stuff like that, along with other photos, etc., etc. It is going to take time, so work with me on that anyway. Because I'm only really getting started, getting back to things now. And now there's a lot more to get done tomorrow too. So yeah. Let me see to get back to live stream too, because I'm see a week gone and I forget how to do things. Um, so this is the councillors for the election, the Cavan County Council, the three municipal authorities. So I just briefly go through it. I will go into a big index on it, a full index on what I think, etc., etc. So the next local authority elections in 2029, which is a long way away, basically. It is, if you think about it, actually is, but I suppose maybe in the way it isn't, because nearly we are 2025 already. So this is my area here. So thankfully, Brendan Fay, the independent top in my area, along with Annie Smith of Fianna Fáil. Now there's two new faces here. Now that would be Damon and Brady Sinn Féin. Now, to be totally honest, before I sent it, I thought Sinn Féin would run away with it in Cavan. They didn't run away with it, but they done well enough. But they still didn't do as well as they thought they would do. And then obviously Neve Brady, Maddie Narkin's daughter, got in. Now, there was one big upset that's the council for 25 years who got the boot, a Fine Gael council, Peter McFerry from Ballyconnor. So that's really the only thing to change. Two new councillors, one got the boot. The rest of them all, Patricia Walsh, John Poppian, and Brendan Fay, Annie Smith, they're the same. Calman Brady was obviously the same. Stephen Connolly for Ballyhills there. Sinn Féin, he got in. Clifford Kelly obviously got in. Sarah Wiley, obviously, is Sarah Wiley. She topped the poll, obviously. I don't, but I know of his face. Val Smith has obviously always been there. Obviously, Shane P. O'Reilly topped the poll and Bally Jim Stuff. Trevor Smith came after him. TP O'Reilly came next. Sinn Féin, just add actually to the what they call it? I did it off my head. There's a Sinn Féin fellow at the boot too. He's been there for a long time. He was the only sitting councillor there last year on Sinn Féin. Paddy's up, and I can't remember his name. But long story short, he got the boot. So at the same time, Sinn Féin won seats, but then one long-term Sinn Féin fellow got the boot. But then Wilson Brady, then Gunnar Brady and stuff like that. Yeah, like I thought too. That's one of the reasons why I didn't run. I thought they would do better in Cavan, like to be totally honest. Even though I'm thankful they didn't do any better, but to be totally honest, I thought people would go that way. Basically, I thought people would be fooled by Sinn Féin, but it doesn't seem to be, because 1, 2, and 3. You only have 3 seats in the 3 constituencies that I know of. Anyway, I don't know about Nias, but I can't remember who he is, what party he's from. But they've done well. But obviously, Fianna Fáil basically done well-ish. Like they didn't do as well. We talk about it here. This explains it better. Just when they hear. So Fianna Fáil is still the largest party. This is the local government that have 248 seats, 258. Independents and other parties done extremely well. So see nearly 200 seats. Sinn Féin didn't do well, But again, this is the thing. It was to do with immigration. But I don't understand how Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael didn't get annihilated back to the next century. I don't get that. The Labour Party actually done quite well. I didn't think the Labour Party would do as well, but they did do as well. The Social Democrats as well, into, and then obviously for profit. But then we see here. So remember these numbers for a second. Then you see the Greens lost the most seats. Who lost the most seats? So Independents got 23 more seats, and Sinn Féin got 21. But I think Mary Lou McDonald said basically she thought they would get a huge amount of seats. They will win everything. Social Democrats done. Into got 5. People for Public got fined. Others, I think that's the National Party, the Irish Freedom. One from the Irish Freedom Party, one from the National Party got in. Labour Party lost 1. Fine Gael lost 10. But look at this. This is the biggest upset, the Green Party. Eamon Ryan said there'll be a Green council elected to every area in the country. Now, in fairness to the councillor in Cavan, there was one in my area. He did get 1% of the vote, which was better than I thought the Green Party would do. But But still, nonetheless, nobody really cares about the Green Party. To be honest. And then obviously Fianna Fáil didn't do too well, even though they, you still the most popular party on paper. They still didn't do too well at the end of the day because losing seats doesn't really, it tells you that people are not really agreeing with you, and especially the Green Party didn't go well for them at all. I wonder why. To be totally honest, I generally wonder why. But basically, long story short, what this really tells me is, regardless of what happens in this country, we have to see, namely, the general election might encourage people to go out and vote and get these parties out, Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael. But what it tells me too is people have copped on to Sinn Féin, which is good too in a way. But we need them to cop on to Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael at the same time too. But whenever the penny drops, but again, they didn't do as well as they thought they probably would do. Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, but still done well enough, as I say. But again, at the end of the day, guess who done the best? The Independents, the only man, the only woman done the best, which is very good because again, the only man and woman are nearly topping the two main political parties. So we see what happens in the general election. But I was disappointed. I thought Fianna Fáil would be obliterated and set back to the ninth century, the same as Sinn Féin. But we see in the next election. But I don't know. But again, it's a long time to 2029. Go back to this for a second. I know probably a lot of people watching the European, not the Eurovision, the European, the football thing. The football thing is not good. But yeah, I seen you sent the email to me, Fiona, too. I didn't get replying to it because it was just after landing really when I got the email. It's good to see the photo for like-minded people. That's what I. Again, there's a lot of messages too I didn't reply to because again, I was doing 100 million things. Just the busiest has been very busy. Talk about a holiday. I only basically got sitting down and relaxing the day beforehand. We were voting. Yeah, I seen that. I seen it. I didn't get time to respond, but I seen it. But see, it was just all go. Basically, go here, go to this place, go there, go to the other place, to here, there, and everywhere. Basically, it was just one random place. Long story short. But we'll go into more depth on what I think about the elections, etc., etc. Same way, very good. I know Mick Wallace and Claire really lost their seat, etc. Like I don't think any nationalists got in the European elections, as far as I'm aware. Not that I'm aware, no, but the National Party, Patrick Kernan, won the seat, and then what they got, the Irish Freedom Party, Glenn Miller, yeah, isn't he? Then Gavin Pepper won, independent, all the way in the Dublin area. Yeah, and then there was Malcolm Stevenson, yes. Sorry, I'm just trying to remember everything because there's too much after happening the last while. There's too much to try and process everything. It's just a bit too much for everything happening. And then obviously there was elections in Finland too, and my head was light with that too. Yes, well, hopefully so. But still, as a start, let's put that way. We see in the next election, the general election, we see how it goes. Sorry about that. Apologies. Um, sorry, but again, apologies again. There's a lot of stuff going on. We'll probably be here until the 7:30, and I know I said it would live at 7 o'clock. Um, so let me see. Suppose we go and talk about this for a second. So Matty McGuire, I think it was. I heard about this yesterday, and it's on the Dáil schedule. As Tracy O'Malley pointed out here, it's on the Dáil. It's on the Dáil schedule for Wednesday, the 19th. Obviously, coming up this Wednesday coming. That the government are moving forward. Now, obviously, I knew they would do this too. To be totally honest, that they would wait until the after the election, because they wouldn't go into dare do it before the election, because they'd basically just be given more ammunition for people to vote against them. So they waited until after the local town election, where nobody could really, because obviously if they brought this in before, they might have lost maybe 100 seats, the two parties together. So it's happening this Wednesday, as I say, 12:45. Now it doesn't like, to be totally honest, there's no opposition really to it apart from Matthew McGuire, the few independents. The independent in Clare got into the European Parliament. So there's not really much. Matthew McGuire is the only person that really spoke out about it. Nobody really else to, like the mainstream political parties, Labour Party, Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, they're all going to vote in favour. Nobody's going to object to it. So it's just going to be washed through the houses, the Oireachtas, and they'll be gone, signed with the president by the end of the week, I say. Because regardless, because going by what's been said by TDs, and particularly Sinn Féin in this county here, particularly, because I've heard the Sinn Féin, what they call Matt County, I heard him saying it on the radio one stage, that they were going to vote for it. Sinn Féin were going to vote in favour, or he was going to vote in favour, I think it was. Again, this is before, but maybe they changed their mind recently, but I don't know. But again, at the end of the day, I think they're going to just, regardless of how many emails they get, they're just going to wash it through the house to the Oireachtas, and that's really going to be it. That's just it. And the same with the hate speech bill, they're going to probably pass it soon or before the next election. Because again, there's talk that the government might go early with the general election, but I don't know whether they go early. They're talking about November. I don't think they will, because they know they might get trashed into the next century. So I don't think they're going to risk it yet. They're going to try and run the clock down as long as they can. That's what I think. But I could be wrong. But again, this is definitely happening. And to be totally honest, it's going to be passed. It's there'd be no opposite. Like, unless all the Fianna Fáil TDs stand up and say no. None of them are. Let's put it that way. None of the politicians have a backbone, and they're not willing to be kicked out of the party, etc., etc. So nobody's going to do it. So it's just going to be washed through the house of the Oireachtas, etc., etc. And sadly, that's just the way it is, isn't it? Even though it should probably go to a public vote, because again, it's a huge change in Ireland's immigration law, and it go basically the EU tell us what to do. Whatever sovereignty we have in protecting the one border is basically going to be thrown out the border. Whatever's left of it, basically. But basically, the whole lot is going to be thrown out the water now. Long story short. So yeah. So yeah, we'll chill for a second now. So yeah, as I was saying earlier on too, Claire Daly and Mick Wallace lost their seat. So it's not really much lost. I never really cared them. They were good as TDs, but then they lost the plot when they went into the European Parliament. Because again, they're basically just Russian MEPs at this stage. They're more worried about Russia, Mick Wallace and Claire Daly. They're more worried about Russia than they were about Ireland's interest, basically. and obviously they're basically just shilling for the Kremlin. To be totally honest, they put it straight. The Willie were just shilling for the Kremlin. Um, they basically war because they cared more about what was happening in Russia than they did about what was happening in Ireland. Um, so, uh, so it's not really much loss with them. Should be told answer. Is my chat broken? No, I don't think so. I might have to go for 2 seconds and I'll be back in a second. There's a few things going on now. Good evening, Sean. How are we keeping? How's the weather? How are you? How are you this evening? How's the weather keeping? Um, I heard that saying one time, like a few weeks ago. How's the weather keeping you? Yes, I am. I am indeed. Um, yes. Oh, Jesus, it's very sunny. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Just give me 2 minutes. Sorry, I just have something to do, and I'll be back to you. See, this is the worst thing about when you just come back from a place. There's the 100 million things to do. So just give me 2 seconds. I just make a quick phone call, and then I'll be back with you. So talk among yourselves for 2 seconds. Again, apologies for this, but it's just 100 million things. I'm only basically getting back, catching up on stuff that I need to catch up on, basically. So give me 2 seconds, and I'll be with you. Hello, sorry, how are we doing? Thunder and lightning here. Jesus, what country in? Because it's sun here at the moment. Let's have a trick. Thunder and lightning. Hello, I keep saying, AKA, how would I put this? YouTube, don't listen for a second. YouTube moderators. Meanwhile, at the journey, yes, I didn't mean to go into it. See, I was with somebody from the Social Democratic Party. And they were like, "Yeah, there's a cool thing in here," and that's the reason I got in. Yeah, it's pretty cool now. It is pretty cool. The new mall, because I didn't plan to go into that place, to be totally honest, but they were like, "It's cool. Yeah, you should go in." It's unfortunate that downstairs was closed, but because they're doing it up like Helsinki's just been dug up. The whole fucking country's been dug up in Helsinki. They're putting new pipes in, except the whole roads are dug up everywhere. So it was good fun, but so there's a lot more footage again to come out. There's some other stuff I was doing in the X, Y, and Z. Like there's a lot of stuff, and I would talk about it all in due course, I suppose. But it was quite a shock, I presume, to a lot of people. Because I knew Santa Marin was about to leave office around that time, which was a year and probably 5 months, a long time ago. This was in the works. So originally the plan was to go in December, in Finland's Independence Day around that time. But I don't fancy the -25 degrees or so in Helsinki um, in December. I don't fancy that. I'm sure everybody would agree. I don't fancy -25 degrees and -30 degrees. I don't think we will fancy that. Just being in that cold. You might not last. You know, so but it's a long story. I get into it in the whole video. It better just to go through it all, the whole shebang. But I'm sure it was quite interesting for everybody because nobody really expected that. Like literally nobody knew about it already. So it was a good enough. So yeah. Again, I know some of the footage too when I'm recording and stuff like that. I'm not the best, recorder with phones, video and stuff, etc., etc. But I think it done well enough looking at some of the footage and stuff like that. I think it was done well enough. I know there's more to come. There's not just what you were seeing. There's more in the background, etc., etc. I probably didn't record enough, but again, I suppose more in Finland than any other country in the world, the value of the privacy. You don't want people shoving cameras in their face. They're not into that kind of carry on. So you have to kind of be respectful because again, you're a guest in their country. You can't be just going around annoying people from their country, etc., etc. Because again, they could have just told me the app would fuck off, basically. If they really wanted, because again, it's their country. But yeah, no, it's a quite difference. But if you went from Dublin to Helsinki, it's a quite difference. But when you see security, etc., the airport, etc., it's a quite difference. Because in Dublin, there's no armed police or any border guards, etc. There's obviously customs, etc. But there's no armed police, etc., or armed security or the border guards. So then obviously some of the Finnish military are there too. So there's a huge amount of security. It's just a quite difference when you notice it in the airport. Thunder strike. I'm just trying to think of stuff from getting. So we went through the castles, yeah. Is there anything else I need to just briefly talk about? Again, we'll probably be live another stage this week coming to make up for last week. Because again, the fortunate thing was I planned to do more live streams when I was there. But see, I was walking off my mobile data and I didn't know how much I had, basically. Because this is my first time ever leaving the country in my life, so I didn't know how to work, etc., etc. But I know for again how to get it working, etc., etc. Because I only live streamed at one stage, even though we're going to live stream at another stage. But I know how it works for again. I was using mobile data, but I didn't know how much I would have. I didn't want to be live streaming; I just wanted to be cut off, etc., etc. And I couldn't access for the wing anybody, etc., etc. Bum bum bum. So just going back to the election in Cavan, in the three constituencies, just going back to it for a second. Just this poll from the Anglo South, well not poll, but graph from the Anglo South, really just the Cavan situation at the moment. So this is the breakdown of first preference votes in County Cavan. As you see, Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael still have a huge majority. It is a huge majority, still, and again, it's going to be hard in this county to get rid of Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael because they are just embedded. Particularly the older vote, the older people's vote is just embedded into Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, and it's going to be hard to move them. Now, to be totally honest with you, and I'm taking away for this, but I would rather see Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael getting the boot too, along with Sinn Féin. But Sinn Féin, one of the reasons why I didn't win the local authority election, because I thought Sinn Féin would just go 100 miles in Cavan. But thankfully, people in Cavan actually seen what they were going to do, etc., etc. So I thought originally, before the election, etc., said that they would be getting 30 or 40%. But that didn't happen in Cavan, just to say. So that's a good thing. And you see independents and others. Brendan Fay topped the poll in this area, which is great and independent. Then obviously Shane P. O'Reilly too. Then Aintu done well. Sarah Wiley obviously did very well too. But no, I didn't. Like, I was just going with the flow. But you know, you get what I'm saying. I didn't really know how much it was. Yeah, I've seen something about that. I'm not too sure, but again, I've seen by Patrick Quinn in the National Party, etc., and Gavin Pepper, etc. See, it's hard to keep up with everything because it was so difficult. Again, I can't emphasize how difficult it was to be here and go to this and go to that and go to here and then make sure check out the news what's happening in Ireland, the local authority level, the national level, you know, and the Finnish elections. To try and know what's happening there too, because you know, so I can try and talk to understand. Even though I had a better one, again, I'm doing second too. There's a good few stories I could tell you about that. But just to try and keep on top of it, along with trying to go here, there, and everywhere, it was a lot of stuff. Now, it was generally a lot. It kind of overloaded me at a few stages. Yeah, I know a bit. I seen a bit online about it when I was over there. He didn't get. He got a good. He got 26 or something thousand votes, something like that. It might have been a bit more. Might have been a bit. I don't know, something like that. Yeah, it was something like I can't remember specifically, but something like that. But I know he didn't get in. But it was something. It was a lot of votes anyway. He got. Like it was a huge amount. So again, I go back and look at everything now in a few days' time, so I can try and keep myself up to date, I suppose. So I can sit down now and just look at stuff and relax. I don't know before. Yeah, I know he didn't get in, but I think he done. He done decent. I've seen something about it online. Yeah, it seems like he got a few. He got a few thousand votes anyway. Can't specifically remember. Yeah, the establishment is a bit rattled. There could have been a bit more. I would rather them be a bit more rattled at the moment. I thought they would get a bit more of a rattling, but hey ho, I suppose that it's better than nothing. First time can't yeah. I can't remember specifically. Forgive me now. I can't remember specifically. Usually I would remember, and usually would have notes and stuff like that. How much this person got and that, etc. But it's very difficult to keep on track and everything. Particularly again, me being away and all that. It was worse. It'd be different if I was here. Yeah, I could have been able to keep touch and stuff. But yeah, no, it's a good result all around, and the Green Party didn't do too well, anyway. So, boy, my hands upset. Yes, I suppose we move on to the stuff. So I made a video when you were over there. I'm sure you heard about the European elections in Finland. Now you know about Germany and FATS. FATS is called a snap election. Macron is definitely going to lose in the next election to whatever you call the far right one. Well, not the far right, but you know, the right wing. Let's call it that. Nationalist, suppose we call it. You know, I'm going with the media too much. So that's what seemed, and then obviously in Germany and then Austria too, and then the Netherlands, of course, and all that. Le Pen, yes, yeah, again, my brain's just flabbered because it's just too much to remember. So there's going to be an election in fact, so that seems who's going to be the next French president, excuse me. And same in Germany, it's not looking good for them. But in Finland and the Nordics, Denmark and Sweden, and there's a huge shift left, back to left. Obviously, Finland being, at the moment, I would generally call them a far-right government, the true Finns, etc., the basic Finns, because they really have pissed people off a lot. They pissed them off a lot. Like they've pissed off Finnish people. It's up in Fios, and they're pissed off. They won't support us up in Fios. As you know, I talked about a few weeks ago, a few months back, that they were a few years ago. They were all for about leaving the European Union, etc., etc. And then when they got into government, they're like, no, we want to stay in the European Union. Same with the Conservative Party. When they got into government, they silently took it out, saying, oh, we're going to stay in the European Union. We're not going to vote on it. So, they betrayed their own voter base, and then they betrayed the Finnish people with many promises, and they broke them. It's not going good. Basically, it's a huge. I wouldn't be totally honest. I kind of say it straight. Finland and I suppose all them countries up in the Nordics. They always kind of have been a social democracy, etc. And it kind of works there, to be totally honest. It doesn't work in Ireland. Ireland's just a fuck case. It's better a nationalist government in Ireland, to be totally honest. But the Nordics, a social democracy does work. It has functioned well. It has functioned well. For what I have seen and stuff like that, it did function well. At the moment, it's not functioning because they're just lunatics that's in charge. To be totally honest, particularly the true Finns seem to be just lunatics. At every level, to be totally honest, they seem to be just total lunatics. Because they're making the most dumbest decisions you can imagine. But again. Yeah, I've seen about Niall too. He got a good few. He got a few. He only missed out by a few hundred, I think it was. Yeah, he was only missing out by a few hundred or so. Because I seen his video. I remember seeing that. Yeah, I remember seeing that in Finland. I seen that. Which is unfortunate. But we'll just talk about the true Finns for the second. Because you have to remember, I was invited over one of the political parties, technically. Well, somebody that was in a political party, not by the political party itself, but somebody that was in it. And it was a high enough member of it, basically. So the True Finns, this is the lead of the True Finns, and, as you can see, it's not going well. And just briefly, though, because it was a huge thing in Finland. And obviously then being in Parliament and stuff like that, being a guest in Parliament, etc., etc. I met the Speaker of the House, etc., in the Finnish Parliament. I met a few other members of the Finnish Parliament. I'll show you now in a second different things. But just to show you, because there's been a huge protest vote, and again, just the same, but the huge shift left. Eli Anderson, Sanna Marin's best friend, I suppose, in the 13 constituencies, like counties in Finland, she topped 8 of the 13. As you can see here, with 60 to 50, 60 and 59, like huge anti-government vote, basically, just huge, 250,000 votes. The population of Cavan, the population of Mead, the population of Monaghan, the population of Longford, Leitrim, basically, and being the Left Alliance too done very well. They got 3 candidates in with nearly 500,000 votes. It's just insane. Like that's just insane, and it just goes to show you how much in trouble the government is in Finland at the moment. The True Finns, because they had 3 seats, now they only have 1 seat. As an MEP in the Finnish in the European Union. Excuse me. So basically just fuck themselves over something fierce. The same with the Conservative Party, because again, you can just see this huge anti-government vote. It's a huge anti. But no, I do think social democracy. Like for what I've seen in Finland, things do function well. I was there seeing local town management, etc., etc. Things function well. There's no homeless people in Helsinki. There's literally nobody about, literally homeless in Helsinki. They won't allow it. It's functioned well. The housing situation in Finland is stable, etc., etc. People can get homes. People can buy homes. Young people can actually afford homes. It's insane. People can move out of the parents' house. It's insane. Like it's genuinely insane. And again, that's because of the social democracy, supposed to be the welfare state, etc., etc. And it has worked. It wouldn't work here. I don't think it would work in Ireland, but it does work there. It's been built. I suppose Finland has been built on that. And what I would really call them a right-wing government at the moment, because the majority Finnish people, and I talk about a few incidents now in a second, they don't support this right-wing government at the moment, especially because immigration too. The thing about it is, there's not that many people seeking asylum in Finland, would you believe, because they're looking for who they are and checking up who they are, etc., doing background checks. And if you don't meet the criteria, they're going to kick you out of the country. Because again, the one word I heard over and over again in Finland from people in the Social Democrats, even the Left Alliance. I've talked to people in the Left Alliance. Is the want to protect their sovereignty, and I heard that many times. Sovereignty, the word sovereignty, which you wouldn't dare here because we want nothing to do with a backwards looking idea of sovereignty in this country. But over there, it's about defending Finland, defending the very the very strong opinions on that. So nobody's just going to claim asylum. Let's put it that way. Um, you know, I seen something about it. Yeah, I did see something about it. I have to look into it a bit more, but I was seen something online about that. But it does work, I will say, and I know it might sound biased, but it does work in the Nordics. I have to admit, it does work the social democracy in the Nordics. But yeah, this was interesting too. This is Sanna Marin's cabinet, etc. I know we keep talking about this, but basically, the four people lie on the sun, and then you have the Green Party, and then the woman and this woman. The four of them got into the European Parliament. They got elected to the European. The only person that isn't in a political office, Ken, was Sanna Marin. Would you believe that the whole lot of them are not in Finnish politics anymore? It's a very interesting thing because the whole lot of them former cabinet ministers, members of the political party, the Left Alliance, Lie Anderson. The whole lot of them that to the European Parliament, Sanna Marin is the only one that's in the Tony Blair Institute. So I don't get that, but it's an interesting thing that none of them are in Parliament. They're in Parliament, but yeah. And then you just see here, the suds for Lie Anderson is more popular than the set of Finland. Lie Anderson received, it was 250,000 votes. First preference, just to say, like no candidate in Ireland could do that too. To be honest, like she got more than the whole basic Finns, the true Finns. She basically got more than the three of them combined, and then two of them lost the seats. Just to say, because it's huge. That's it's huge. But yeah. But I do admit that social democracy does work in Finland, not so much what it's happening at the moment. Because I was out, the way before the European elections. They don't go house to house like what they do here with leaflets, etc., etc. People go to public squares and stuff and have discussions with the politicians, etc., etc. Nobody basically wouldn't even know there was a European election in Finland, to be totally honest, unless you actively sought it out. But there was no posters or anything. There was leaflets and stuff like that. But so I was along with one of the Social Democrats. The Social Democratic Party was asked to go. I didn't participate now, but I was watching in the background just to see what people were saying, etc., etc. And one woman particularly, she was 75. She's a pensioner, and and this is why I feel very strongly too about it now. It's really made me tightened, I suppose, more on my policy on this. That she again, the government, the True Finns, the Conservative Party in Finland. I talked about before. What they have cut their pensions, the old people's pensions, people that worked all their life. And as your woman said, she worked all her life, and the government are fucking her over, and they are. And she's out of pocket, and she's struggling. And the supports that used to be there are not there anymore. They're taken away from. And she's a Finnish citizen. Her father was in the continuation war. Her father fought for Finland to remain free and not under the Soviet Union. And again, this is what the government do to her, and again, she nearly moved to tears, but she was speaking in Finnish, but thankfully they could translate what she was saying. But you could see that she was very, very upset, that this is the way the country's going, Finland's going. That the basic Finns, the true Finns, are basically supposed to look after the people in Finland, not fuck them over in every conceivable way. But again, take for example that woman, it's many situations, young people, there was a few students, etc., etc. The Conservative Party promised they wouldn't cut their allowance every week, the money they get from the government every week for being in college. And young behold, guess what they did? They cut it. And they're out of pocket too, and they're Finnish citizens. They're people they're not just turned up off the boat and given handouts, etc. They're there all their life. And the government's fucking them over too. And after them promising they wouldn't do it. So you can see why there's a huge vote to go back to the old ways, But that's why it's really, because especially with that old woman there at 75, after that, I have no sympathy to the True Finns or the Conservative Party in Finland. I have no time for them. I wouldn't. Um, Again, I wouldn't be seen near them, really, because it's dreadful what they've done, and to be totally honest, that's just straight up. Um, because I wouldn't have been that. I was serious before about it, but when I see it in reality, your opinion hardens a lot more. Um, because it isn't right, and it's truly not right. And it'd be the same if it happened here. I speak out about it because it isn't right. Cutting a woman at 75. Um, Her father, as I say, fought in the continuation war. Wanted to fight for Finland's freedom, to keep its sovereignty, etc. And the true Finns, supposed to be for the Finnish people, etc., etc. Oh, fucking them over. And then when she's looking for supports to pay for different things, etc., to pay like for the shopping, etc., etc., the supports that used to be there under the Social Democrats, etc., etc., are not there now. Simple as that. And it's just sad to be so down to. It is sad to see. But again, that's why it's a huge shift. Like, it's going to be a social democratic government in the next Finnish government. Like Sando probably will be back as the prime minister because the true Finns really have fucked themselves along with the conservatives. Because I can't emphasize, because particularly as somebody that knew, a lot of people were surprised I knew so much about what's happening in Finland. Because a lot of Americans didn't have a clue. There was a few Americans there that didn't have a clue what anything was, basically. And they didn't have a clue. So at least I knew what they were talking about, etc., etc. So, but it was interesting to be there, just to listen and to survey what was being said to the Social Democrats, and because I didn't actively participate, I was in the background just listening to what was going on. And obviously, thankfully, the person that invited me was able to translate it from Finnish to English, so I could understand. But again, a lot of them could speak English too, and were able to brief me, even so some of them could speak broken English, but they were able to talk to me, but they were speaking obviously Finnish to them and some broken English to me. But it was quite a sight to behold. Particularly, it really struck me, the 75-year-old woman now, to be totally honest. It really struck me now, to be totally honest. Like hearing how good it was before, how life was good for her before, under the Social Democrats, and then the life now she has, and again being a Finnish citizen, etc., etc. She's entitled to enjoy the last few years, as she said herself, her last few years on earth. She wants to try and enjoy it somewhat decently, and the way it's going on at the moment, it doesn't look like she's ever going to have a decent life. It's going to be always the poverty line, basically. And that's really what it is the poverty line. And that woman, unfortunately, might lose everything now because of the true Finns, etc., etc. But we have to see. But again, it's more out of basically nobody had anything nice to say about the government at the moment in Finland. And then there was I actually met somebody he's a vendor, an ice cream vendor, etc. And he said he voted for the true Finns. He voted for them. He wanted to leave the European Union, etc., etc. It was nice ice cream. The ice cream was dear now. It was €5 something for a cone, just to say. It was €5 something for no only cone, no flake, no anything on it. But anyway, I give them the money. It wasn't about the money. But long story short, he voted for the true Finns. He's not going to vote for them again, let's put it that way. Because he wanted to leave. He doesn't think Finland should be in the European Union, take for example. But again, guess what the true Finns have done? They fucked over their own voters. They said before, we're going to leave the European Union. We're going to do it. And quietly they took out that, and the same with the Conservatives, that they don't want to leave the European Union. So they've isolated their own voters, they isolated the Finnish public. They've annoyed everybody, basically. But again, it's just interesting to hear, because he even admitted that obviously he would agree with a lot of stuff I'm saying, etc., etc. But he even agreed it was better when Sanna Marin was a prime minister. He even agreed himself, because he was telling me during COVID too. This is the thing too, and I suppose it's this consensus with the whole Finnish public, either you be from the right or the left, that the government at the moment needs to get out and they need to be kicked out. Like there's a huge revolution, I suppose, in the background. It's supposed in Finland because they've caused that much of an uproar that the Finnish public would just want rid of them. And especially when you see Lai Anderson, that's just a huge anti-government vote. Basically just telling them we're coming for you next. That's basically what's happening. But he even said during COVID when he had his little stand, he sells ice cream and stuff and Tato and stuff like He said during COVID, obviously he couldn't go out because you couldn't really go out. And he said only for the Social Democrats, the left wing government supported local businesses, supported small business, didn't support the big businesses. Only for that he wouldn't be in business too. So in fairness, at least he's able to, even though he wouldn't, he wouldn't be, let's vote all left wing parties, except let's have abortions every day, etc. So he doesn't agree with abortion. But he does agree that it was better when the Sanna Marin was prime minister. It was better back then. And they threw it all away, basically. Especially because it's quite disturbing too what's coming next, and the next what they want to bring in is limiting the right to freedom of expression, freedom of assembly. Take for example, the True Finns want to bring this in, so there can't be anti-government protests. So it's quite disturbing that they want to ram that through. It's very quite disturbing. Hello, Naya. How are you doing? It's good to see you. How are you keeping? But it is quite disturbing now. I know I'm going on probably for an hour about it, but it's something I just observed that, it's interesting just to observe things, when you're in another country. If that makes sense, I know I'm going on probably for an hour, but it's quite interesting. But yeah. Long story. We're not getting to that tonight. It's a whole other story for that. Let me see. It's a long story. But what else was I going to say? I've lost my train of thought. Anyway, I get it back someday. She, your wife. Let me see. But what was I going to say there? So yeah, the Irish elections, the Irish MEP elections. Let me see. MEP elections. So I just want to briefly go through this. So Luke Flanagan got in. Again, Maria Walsh, which I'm not that fond of. She got in too. So Claire Daly Mick Wallace got kicked out, which is not much loss to be done to. So then obviously a few Fianna Fáil and Sinn Féin got in. And what do you call your woman? The Sinn Féin one in Dublin. What do you call her? She used to go for the presidency. Yeah, I don't know who voted for Luke Flanagan too, to be totally honest, but I don't know about that Maria Walsh one particularly. As woke as you can get, basically. Let's put that way. But at the end of the day, whoever they voted in, whoever they voted in. But yeah, it's a long story, Niall. I'm just saying about the picture behind it. Long story. Yeah, Leah Boylan. Yes, I don't know why she got voted in, but at the end of the day, it's whatever I suppose. But particularly the Walsh one, I don't know why anybody voted her in, but but anyway, I'm confused with some of the why shouldn't Fianna Fáil get done well, but I know it's just a shame again. But again, as many people pointed out to me, I couldn't have made any difference. One vote wouldn't make any difference in the grand scheme of things, and it's unfortunate. It probably wouldn't have made any difference because Brendan Fay, the person who was going to vote for the local Taoiseach here, the independent, he got in overwhelmingly, and one vote wouldn't make much difference. The same with the European Parliament. I don't know who would have probably voted for, because it was just far too many. It was just extreme, 27 of them or something like that. It was just far too many. The cheek of who to vote for. Obviously, he wouldn't vote for Fianna Fáil again. Obviously, that's ruled out. But there was independence, and then it's just, it's just too much. It was too much for everything. What happened to do you know about the Limerick Lord Mayor? Who got in that? Does anybody know? Because I didn't really follow that. I know it was the first directly elected mayor in the country, which it probably should be always the way. Um, um, it's in your imagination, Sean. Only seen your comment. It's in your imagination. You fantasize these things. You see things on the wall that I can't see. Um, what do you call that? There was a movie once. It's your imagination. They said so that way. It's your magic mushrooms. Yeah, it was some Fianna Fáil, Fianna Gael. It wasn't like independent, but along with at least you social democratic one and get individually, and that's what I was worried about. I would have been like, it was a bit too much. Because it didn't look like she was going to get, but I think she did. Um, um, but I don't know what does people think about that idea of the directly elected mayors. I don't know. Would it be a good idea, like for the whole place? I don't know. Because again, I suppose they do have a good bit of power at the same time. They do different things in the local town, and I suppose they should be accountable to the public. Because the way it is at the moment, they're not really accountable. Go here, looks, etc., etc. They're not accountable to the public, even though they're sitting councils. They're still not accountable in the way they should be, probably. But then again, you'd be probably voting every 10 minutes if that was the case. Where am I now? Sorry. Give me a second. So I'm just looking up something. Let me see. Just what I'm interested in, just actually, because I never actually looked about the Limerick Mayo elections. I only thought about actually though. John Mowen, is it? Yeah, John Mowen. A salary of 151,000 euro a year. Interesting. Yeah, they had three ballots, obviously, for the trees, so they had three. Because originally it was supposed to be something to do with the European Court, was supposed to have a referendum, but obviously the government has seen that and were like, no, we don't want to do. The last referendum didn't go too well for them, so they're like, no, we don't want that again, you know. It's a quite difference, but like talking about like compared to Dublin and Helsinki and stuff like that, it's a huge difference because obviously I was around Dublin a good bit when I got back, and then before I left, I went around Dublin. And to be totally honest, I'd be fair, I'd be safe here when I say this. We're not safe, but I'd be totally honest with people. I didn't feel safe going down O'Connell Street. I went down O'Connell Street. I went down Grafton Street. I didn't feel safe. I felt like at any moment somebody could approach from the shadows. A group of men could come out of the shadows and beat you up and take everything. And that's on the main street in the country. I didn't feel safe. So, and I didn't feel safe anywhere near Dublin Airport or anything like that. It's not safe. You don't feel safe walking the streets of Dublin. It's just a dirty kip of a place. Excuse my language, but it is literally what it is. Because we've let the city just run down so much. It's just a disgrace when you see it. Compare it to where you landed in Helsinki, etc., etc. Because I tell you straight, I've seen no less when I was in Dublin that time, but for only about a half an hour in the city centre. No, more or less, I've seen about maybe 30 people lying. I didn't even go around to Marion Square where the West Division, where all of them have their heads. But even just Irish people homeless, etc., etc. Just far as the extreme amount of homeless people is insane. And then to go to a city where there's literally nobody homeless, And there's no buildings there like though into that. It's insane. Um, and there's see no rubbish anywhere. It's insane too. Like they're just to compare the two cities. Like it, it was, I was very blown away by it. That's what I. Yeah, I didn't feel safe. I was on my own. And I didn't feel safe, and I wouldn't go down again. To be totally honest, in my own city, I'm afraid to go. Like in the own capital city, of our country, I'm afraid to go down. But not even that. There's that many people not from Ireland that were on the street. More than I was probably the only Irish person nearly there. Well, there was a few others, obviously. But there's more people from other countries than there is me. That's what I'm saying. Maybe it's just me, but it's just insane. Compared to Finland, everybody around just nearly Finnish. Like 95% of the country in Finland is Finnish people. Because again, the thing is about it is, and the thing I talked about before, nobody really has a reason why to leave Finland. Finnish citizen, apart from recently now with this government, because they can afford a house. A young person can actually afford a house before they're 40, before they're 30, if they have a good job. They actually can get a house. They actually could buy a house. Imagine that. It's insane. They actually can do it. Like, that's the actually insane thing about it. That's crazy. Like, to any young person here, that's just insane. Yeah, but no, but the capital city comparing it to where I was in Helsinki and stuff like that, it's insane. Because I wouldn't bring one of the people that invited me over here to be doing the look around Dublin. I wouldn't do it because we would be generally shaming the country. Because if they went back and told people around Helsinki or their friends and that Dublin was the biggest kip going, it wouldn't look good in the country. So I wouldn't bring them over here to show them around our capital city because they could end up being killed. They'd be totally strange. Because I even was out. This is the thing, because obviously with midnight sun, etc. I even was out at 5 o'clock in the morning in Helsinki, in the parks and stuff like that, and it's totally safe. At no point in Helsinki did I feel in danger or anything like that. It's one of the safest cities in the world, and again, that's what Dublin should be. Again, I talked about it in the whole video, but it's huge when you see the comparison when you land from Dublin to it's insane. It's generally insane. Like it's just mind blowing. It's just mind blowing. Like it's generally mind blowing. Um, I know I keep going on and on, but no, it is crazy. Like I couldn't get over it. To be totally honest, like to be totally honest, I'm kind of dumbfounded. To be totally honest, I'm dumbfounded about it. You know. Yeah, like it's not safe. It's generally not safe, Dublin. And would you believe it was only there for half an hour? Well, we see how it goes. Um, we see. But no, it's just insane. Like if I had it on video, etc., etc. If we compared the two cities together, and Dublin should be to Helsinki's level, it really should be because it's really everything the capital city should be, with good public transport. It has a metro and it has trams and there's buses. Not even that it's safe. You can walk down the street, etc. There's people literally. This is the most insane thing. In Dublin, you couldn't do it. Just listen for a second. Listen to this thing, and this just tells you all you need to know how safe it is. Literally, there's women with prams on the road with no father or no men with them white, and they can leave their child in a pram outside the coffee shop on the street in the middle of the street, and they'd be safe. Simple as that. They'd be safe. Nobody would touch their children. The child would be there with them. Because see, that's the way they do it in Finland. It's a weird thing they do to build up the child's immune system. They leave them outside the cafe and stuff, and the child is not taken. In Dublin, your child will be gone, your pram will be gone, the whole street will be gone. Long story short, it's safe because I've seen that. Literally, I was in a cafe and the woman left her child outside waiting to have coffee, and the child was just sleeping away, and nobody touched, nobody done anything. If that was in Dublin, be gone, your child. And this just shows you, and this is in the middle of the main street. If that was in the corner street and you left your child out, to be gone. Totally just gone. Like you've seen it many times in Dublin. You've seen it over the last few months many times happening. Yeah, but in Finland, no, because it's a thing they do. It's going back hundreds of years. It's the build the immune system up to the cold and outside. But again, it's the fact of the matter they're safe. Nothing's going to happen to them. in Helsinki and that. Because again, it's all about the one thing at the end of the day, not with so much in the government, but it all goes back to this one thing. And I suppose why they're happy in Finland. It goes back to trust. People trust each other. They trust each other. Only Finland in the street trust each other. Like they do trust each other. They generally do trust each other. And it's all about that. The main thing, just trust. They trust the people in society that's in the society. And that's basically, it's just the one word, trust. It's very trust in society. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But again, it's unheard of. Like you wouldn't traffic anything through Helsinki Airport because none the more. I tell you, when I arrived in Helsinki, none more than 40 border guards, heavily armed border guards, all around the airport. 40 of them, and that's not even mentioning the Finnish army and only security the airport. There must be about maybe 70 guards in the area that I was in the Helsinki airport. So basically, you wouldn't go through Helsinki in the rush, and if you were up to something, basically. In Dublin, there wasn't one person, apart from the person was on, when you check out your stuff at the airport and stuff and to check your ID. Apart from that, there was not one person around, no security guards and none. There was nobody anywhere to be found, But comparing that to Helsinki, it's like Fort Knox, basically. And then again, just heavily armored with machine guns, light machine guns and stuff, not just only pistols, light machine guns. Like they're ready for Armageddon. But yeah, like it's very locked and loaded there, but I kind of understand. But I say more in Helsinki to be more locked and loaded. But security again, I've heard it a lot. Like as to say, I heard the word sovereignty from many people in Finland. Again, being in Parliament too, I've heard it many times, and I mean literally from people literally in the Social Democratic Party in Finland, people that literally are supposed to be our left kind of on the political scale. Over here, you wouldn't hear Sinn Féin saying about sovereignty, or the Labour Party saying about Ireland sovereignty. I've literally heard people literally say that on the left in Finland, and they mean it, and they generally mean it. You can see it in the voice and in the way they said it. If something happened in the morning, they would go to conscription and fight for Finland. They literally said it in front of me, some of them, that they would literally get up and fight in the morning if needs be. Like they're very willing, just to say too, they're very willing to go out in the morning at the moment's notice and shoot anybody or kill whoever comes knocking on Finland's door. Like they generally are very willing to go out and do whatever is necessary to protect Finland. Let's put it that way, because you can generally hear it in their voice and their soul. Like you generally, if you wouldn't believe it unless you were there. Like you could hear it in their soul that they're willing to stand on that, so that stand on that walk. That they're just, it's not like me saying it or anything that or anybody else here. They're willing to go out and defend it. Because again, the thing you have to realize, that's one of the persons the Social Democrats said, that a lot of the true people that are from Finland, etc., a lot of their fathers, grandfathers would have had to go out during the Winter War, the continuation war, and fight for Finland's very existence, to exist as a nation, as a sovereign nation. And I suppose a lot of Finnish people, they owe it to them. And they think it's, I suppose, in the way the Social Democrat system has been built in Finland too, that you get free schooling, etc., etc. It's kind of you're doing your duty back to the state, for the state looking after you, etc., etc. Not even that for your grandfather, etc., etc., who fought for Finnish independence and Finnish sovereignty. And that's the way they see it. So I can kind of see in that regard to make a whole video talking about it, but that they are literally the most willing country in the world to go to war. Like they are just, and it is true that 99% of the Finns do, Yeah, well, it's people in Finland are not very fond of the Russians. As I say, there was a poll released in Finland. There, 99.9% of people in Finland are not too fond of the Russians, because again, I suppose you have to remember the history of Finland and stuff. It's always been about Russia, and then the continuation with the Winter War. They're not very bitter taste, but so they can see Russia's the problem. They do really consider. And I suppose it's the only thing they would say, because they would say about their grandfather, the stories that their grandfather, I suppose, left out of them having to the struggle for freedom, etc., in the Winter War. because again, you have to remember during the Winter War, if they didn't get up and fight, Stalin would have conquered Finland, and they would have never had to independence. Yeah, it's more for Finland more than Sweden, because again, Finland. If you remember during the Soviet Union, the Winter War, Stalin wanted to take over all of Finland, and Finland fought back, etc., etc. And that's the reason why it caused a lot of suffering to Finland, etc., etc. And again, I suppose that's the main thing. Yeah, it's always been really Russia with them, um, because again, as I say, if Stalin got control of Finland back there would have been mass slaughter, etc., etc. Basically, modern Finnish history, all Finnish history, it's always been to do with Russia, etc., etc. So you can kind of see why they don't. Like nobody has any problem with the West or anything. It's just the Russians they don't have any, because again, if you were there, I suppose you would understand a bit more. Like a lot of them said about their grandfathers, the stories that were left down through the family about having to go out and fight during the Winter War, etc., etc., the suffering, uh, being outnumbered, etc., etc. And I suppose it does happen with all. I suppose it's the same as us and the British, but particularly obviously being losing some of their territory, etc., etc. And I suppose again, it's all about too that they never surrendered. Like there was still a sovereign nation during the Cold War. The west of Europe, Poland, East Germany, Hungary, were all under the Soviet Union. Finland kept its independence, etc., etc. So they always have seen. They never watched. Like again, I know you say probably Sweden back in the day, but they don't have much time for Russia. Because again, I suppose the two wars again, Finland never would have probably went to war with Russia if they didn't come knocking first. I suppose that's the way they would see it. I don't know about Denmark and Sweden, but definitely Finland would be one of the most anti-Russian countries ever. And I wouldn't really blame them, to be totally honest. Because again, all modern Finnish history, if you see the war memorial in a small town in Finland, just thousands of Finnish soldiers that laid down their lives during the continuation war and the Finnish Winter War, take for example, I suppose you would change your tune. I suppose you were in Finland, it's a little, but I've heard a lot about it the last few weeks, and I can kind of see why. Well, not really that I can see. I definitely can see why. More than Ireland, obviously. Here we wouldn't be saying maybe Russia's not the problem; it's somewhere else. But definitely with Finland is because Russia's doing kind of a thing to them, and it is true, it is happening. I haven't seen it personally and stuff like that, but it is happening that they're bringing people from Iraq and stuff like that, foreigners to the Finnish border, trying to overflow them with foreigners, take for example. And that's what's happening, really, it is. Yeah, but I've talked to so many people about it the last few weeks. Like none of the parties in Finland want to join it. Like Sanna Marin basically said too that she didn't want to join it. But again, as one person said, if Russia didn't go into Ukraine, they would never have joined it. This was that, and to be totally honest, I can't understand why. And again, they would have had to join anyway, because 80% of the Finnish public does. Like all the people I spoke to, and even some people on the right too, they want Finland to remain sovereign. They want independence. They want to be keeping their sovereignty. And I suppose it's just an extra layer of security. That makes sense. From their view, I suppose. If that makes any sense. I get what you're saying, etc. From an Irish perspective, they wouldn't get it because again, the majority of people are very supportive of it because that's why literally nobody opposed in the parliament, etc. Because Sanna Marin herself was very against NATO before this even happened. But then when Russia invaded, the Finnish public demanded action, and so they did. Because they increased the defense spending, they have new fighter jets, the new ships, the whole shebang. That makes any sense. Like the main thing in Finland is about protecting its sovereignty. That's the bit I say. Like it is generally this thing. Because I don't like if you ever do go to Finland, you will kind of understand because it's a huge thing. It is just generally huge, more than here. And again, it all goes back to the Winter War, the continuation war, And again, during the Cold War too, they remained neutral, they remained free. They weren't under the Soviet Union, etc. So it's all that I suppose continue. Like I suppose they would call it sisu, the resolve and the determination, etc., etc. The guts, you need guts, etc., etc. It's an interesting thing, but it's something that you know they are very, very willing to fight and to defend their country no matter the cost. Basically, it's just plain and obvious. Because I was in the nuclear bunker too. I wasn't allowed to take any. I wasn't allowed to take any footage of it. But I wasn't in on the nuclear underground city. Well, you probably have heard of it, but I was there and I've seen it. And they are prepared for Armageddon. Like they are literally military prepared for Armageddon. I was in airway bunkers and stuff like that. Like they're 50,000 of them around the country. Like they're prepared for Armageddon. Like to be totally honest, they are just literally prepared for Armageddon. Like it's insane to see the military preparedness. To be totally honest, it's just insane to be totally honest. But I suppose then they're just going back to the NATO thing. I suppose like a lot of Finnish people beforehand didn't care about NATO, so it's just when it's open to no wound. I suppose I can kind of understand because they are very pro Ukraine, etc., etc. Because again, I suppose it's open to no wound during the Winter War when they were on their own fighting against the Soviet Union. They were on their own. As Joseph Stalin famously said, it take 3 weeks to take the whole country and to take over it. It's supposed to open to no wound them. And a lot of families, and again, saying majority are from Finland, etc., etc., lived there all their life. A lot of their fathers and grandfathers would have, went off to war. They would be, because again, as I say, they experienced it before more than, Ireland did, I suppose, in a way. During the Winter War, as I say, they fought on their own. I suppose Ukraine's not on their own, but back in the Winter War, Finland was on its own. And their very existence was threatened by Joseph Stalin, etc., etc. So they kind of, they can kind of relate to that, I suppose, and that's why it's such a huge pro-Ukraine country. If that makes any sense. Oh, I know it's ethnically, yeah. I don't disagree with you on that. I know, like, ethnically it is Russian, yeah. But the only way to really solve it is sitting down and having a discussion about it with, like, a peace summit. Yeah, but I suppose no. But this is the thing too. At the end of the day, I know you're probably saying hysteria and stuff like that. The public probably would have forced it on the politicians, because again, the majority of the public did want something to be done. Because again, it's a huge thing, just security. Like that's the main thing. I can kind of conceive, but from an Irish perspective, they would understand my view, I suppose, and I've said my view too to many people from Finland. That Ireland's view is that we should be neutral, we should try and promote peace in the world, etc., etc. That's what I said to many of them. That Ireland wants to remain neutral, wants to be a neutral country. We don't want to be involved. But I can understand when you look at Finnish history and stuff. You look at the Winter War. I can kind of see why they done it. I can kind of see. I wouldn't agree with it, obviously, but again, at the end of the day, it's their country. Yeah, but they are very prepared. That's what I was saying. They're literally prepared for anything. The military, compared to if we join NATO in the morning, we have nothing. We have literally nothing in the military here in this country. But it is quite interesting. But I'm sure you get what I'm saying now. It's like the same with us and the British, back years ago. I suppose that wound is never healed too, I suppose. Like during the famine, etc. It's always kind of deep down in an Irish person's soul. It's kind of there, fortunately, if it makes any sense. And then the War of Independence, the Easter Rising, it's always deep down somewhere, that bit of resentment towards the British, etc., etc. And same as probably with the British and the French take this happened too. It's always somewhere in your soul. Yeah, the Sami people, the native Finnish, yeah, they're up in Lapland, yeah. I didn't meet any of them. I obviously wasn't up in Lapland. But they are native, yeah. They'll be the native Finnish, yeah. They would have come from the Caucasus. Yeah, the mostly Lutheran, like Protestant, and Orthodox. I was at an Orthodox. There's the largest Orthodox church in Western Europe. They are Lutheran, but a lot of them don't participate, I suppose, in religion, etc., etc. But the majority of the country are Lutheran, like Protestants. Yeah, that makes any sense. That's what they would call it, over Lutheran. And then the next would be Orthodox, and then the next would be Catholic. Yeah, I'm sure you know myself about my opinion on NATO. Like, I'm not far forward, but I can kind of see, like, when you're there, when you're listening to them, you can kind of see, because they do make good arguments and what they said. And I suppose if we experience what they experience, I suppose we could understand, what they were coming from. Yeah, I'll show you now in a second the souvenirs, but you kind of get what I'm saying, because they are very passionate, and I have to say they are extremely patriotic. Like, it's insane how patriotic they are compared to the only Irish person. We're kind of always one of them, the country. Like, they are extremely patriotic. Like, they are literally willing to go out and fight and die in the morning if necessary, at a moment's notice. They are literally very patriotic. There's Finnish flags fucking everywhere. Like, they care a lot about their country. They really do care a lot. And I suppose it goes back to the government that they have at the moment. They do care. The Finnish people do care about the future generations, etc., etc. You know, it's quite insane. It's quite insane when you come from a country like that, from Ireland, and go to there. Especially because the one thing I say, and the reason why they're happy, I make a whole video talking about it. The reason why they're happy, and again, it's trust and transparency. Not so much now with the new government, but it's that trust in society. You can trust the next person on the street. You can trust the person on the bus. You can trust that you'll be able to walk down the street, that your children will be looked after in school, that your children are safe to walk down the street. It's all about trust. It's a very trust in society. And transparency. Obviously, things are very transparent. Things are very open. I could look up, for example, I wasn't allowed to take pictures of it, but I was able to go into a place and look at the financial records of the woman behind me. It's openly, it's for any citizen. You have their name, you can look it up in Finland. And I was able to see how much she was able to pay in tax last year, etc., etc. And how much, the donation she made to the Social Democrats a few months ago, 40,000. It's all receipt for receipt for receipt. Take, for example, when Lai Anderson too was the Minister for Education. The whole receipts are there for pens, for pencils, literally receipts for small things so much. It's very transparent. The whole budgets and everything are very transparent. Nothing's hidden, basically. It's the same if I walked in Finland now in the morning. I would have to, the government would have to list how much I own, how much I paid in tax for the only Joe too. And I suppose everybody's equal. And I suppose that's what makes it. That nobody is, it's the same in society. When I went to the Finnish Parliament too, there's a lot of stories I could say. But it was quite insane. There was a woman, I wasn't talking to her into that, but she is an MP. She's a member of the Finnish Parliament. And it literally blew me away now. I know this probably seems insane, but she literally, and I mean this, she literally opened the door. I know that's how, but literally like an ordinary person. Like over here, the politicians would expect you to open the door for them, etc., etc. But she literally opened the door for a common person, like an ordinary Joe that was coming over. And I was blown away by that literally an MP did open the door for a common person. Because again, they don't see themselves as, the true Finns see themselves as fucking, I don't know what, lunatics. But they seem like, they are just, the way they do seem like ordinary people, to be honest. Like, it's insane. It's quite insane now. Like, I don't know, you're probably saying, what does that matter? But it's insane that. Because none of the, imagine one of the TDs, your local TD, open the door for you and letting you go in first before them, like they've slammed the door in your face. That's what they'll do. Yeah, but the souvenirs. Obviously, seen this. I got this made. It was not made, but it was in the shop, and they make these kind of things. They make souvenirs like this. It's good for 20 euro. It's really, really nice. It's handcrafted, as you see, the corners and everything. So it's really good. Everything's like, again, this is another thing too. Just I know so much to talk about. They care that they do the craft, which is a lot of people like craft and stuff and making stuff with their hands. They're very productive with their hands. Yeah, there's a Catholic church. I wasn't at it, but I seen it in the distance. But there's a Catholic church. Yes, a lot more of people in Finland would be Catholic too. Again, it'd be Lutheran and then be Orthodox and then it'd be Catholic. Like, I think it's something like 5% of the country or something, 6%. Yeah, like no, but compared to Sweden and stuff like that, with all the immigrants and stuff like that, Finland's just pure Willy Finnish. Everybody I met was Finnish. Nearly everybody, nearly 99.9% of everybody I met. Like the whole place is Finnish, basically. Like, I guess again, there's no reason for them to move away. If you're a young person, you can buy a house. Like, you actually generally can buy a house. There's places outside Helsinki for less than 100,000, and in Dublin you would pay you would nearly have to sell your soul for it. But people can actually buy things. There's people I met, and I was talking to young people in the Social Democrats too, and the Left Alliance too. They're young members, etc., etc. They can actually rent the house. They can actually afford to rent the house, move out of their house, their home house, and rent the house affordably, sustainably. Let's put it that way. And that's like, for an only Irish person, I'm sure you would agree, Aaron, only. That's insane. That an only, like, a person at our age, around our 20s, can actually move out of home and actually rent the house, and maybe can even buy a house in some cases, in some parts of Finland. Like, it's just, the mind boggles that. Like, that's insane too. Like, you say that to an only college student here. It's insane. Like, it's genuinely insane. Because again, they have very controlled borders too. Like, nobody's being flown in during the night, etc., etc. That's not happening. You know, because again, they're asking for IDs and they're looking who they are before they let them in, which is great. Because they are very strict, particularly if you're not from the European Union, though. Extremely strict on it. You have to jump through a lot of hoops to even get into the country if you're not from the European Union. If you're coming from, say, Timbuktu or something like that, they're going to look into who you are and not let you in before every detail is looked into. Yeah, like Sweden would be just, I have no interest in seeing Sweden, because Sweden would be just a kip, I'd say. But it's very safe. There's no beggars or anything on the street. It's just completely safe. One of the safest places ever I have been. It's just totally safe. Not at one stage did I feel intimidated. I felt intimidated in my own country, in Dublin, just to tell you. I wouldn't bring one of them over that I met in Finland and say, come to Dublin. I'd be ashamed to bring them around and see the depravity that's around Dublin. I'd be actually ashamed to bring them here. Oh, I don't know, but I don't know about some of the cities in Sweden now. I don't know. I think it might be a different story now, because it's very dangerous. Oh yeah, what to see my souvenirs? Yeah, so I showed you this, Sean. You've probably seen it in my community. I think you did, yeah. But it's quite good. It's quite good for Tony. It's nice pages and everything on it. And they were very nice. They were very thankful. Again, they were extremely thankful. The way in Dublin, they wouldn't really care. They were extremely thankful when I was talking to them. They're very resolved people. They don't talk to you unless you talk to them. They are resolved. Like, they are happy. They are happy on the inside. They might not show they're happy on the outside, but they are very nice and genuine people, very trustworthy people. But you have to talk to them first for them to talk to you, if that makes any sense. But they are very nice. All of them. I had no issue with any Finnish person. Oh. Like, they were very manly. Yeah, there was only one stage. I think it was Shawnee Cade was asking me. There was only one person in the whole country that couldn't really speak English. There was a Finnish person. We kind of had just the point to him, like the point to the thing we were talking to. But everybody else can speak great English, sometimes broken English, but you could understand them, and they could understand you and stuff like that, which is good, because if we went to Norway or Denmark or something like that, we couldn't understand them. So unfortunately, this is the most saddest thing about it all. There was a postcard shop that did postcards. So this is obviously the former president, Samuel Ionescu, and this is Alexander. This is the wrong Alexander, the current president of Finland. Alexander, that used to be conservative. He used to be prime minister of Finland. Now, unfortunately, Sanna Marins was bought out. Unfortunately, was prime ministers once too, but unfortunately, she was bought out. No, not in that way. No, not in that way. She wasn't bought out in that way. Nobody could buy Sanna out. Just the way I said that. I should have probably thought about what I said instead of just saying she was bought out. Could speak good English. Sometimes broken English, but there was only one person that couldn't. You had to kind of point to the thing, but they all could speak good English, and apart from some again broken English, but I could understand we can have a conversation. But the majority of them can speak good English, and bought them all. I couldn't buy any more because all the Prime Minister one, I couldn't get the one of Santa Marin or the other one, so I had to buy the two Vice President's ones, unfortunately. But it was a big discussion about it in the shop. Two nice women in the shop, in the card shop there, boots and stuff like that. Big discussion about it, and they were talking about the former president of Finland. They was very fond of him, and in Finnish people are very fond of the former president Sami Esko. Ran away with it in the last election, where he couldn't obviously. Well, he probably would have got elected again, but again, they can only go for 2 terms as president. Very popular because again he got nearly 70% of the vote, and the other person only got 11%. So he's extremely popular there. Some in UNESCO. So you've probably seen I went to the fire museum too, and they give me a nice fire engine thing, which is great. So there is more stuff, but I didn't get it. So I got a nice finished top too. I didn't take it out yet, but I got a nice finished top. No, Santa postcard. I didn't. If there was ones there, I would have bought actually the whole. Like in fairness, I actually generally would have bought the whole lot of them, but there wasn't. That's what I'm saying. Madrid, Madrid would be too hot for me. It was fucking too hot in Helsinki. It was 25 degrees one day in Helsinki, and I got sunburn in Helsinki in Finland. It's insane. But yeah, I got this nice top. I haven't taken it out yet, but I got that nice top. Obviously got the newspapers too. Like Anderson and stuff, because there is a bit of Finnish history. I don't think it ever could happen again. That somebody could get 250,000 first preference votes. Like that's just insane. You think about that for a second. That's insane. And then obviously another newspaper too got. And just to say how much a newspaper was in Finland, it's nearly €4 something for the newspaper in Finland. And also a stamp is 50 cents dearer in Finland than it is in Ireland. A stamp. Now, you've probably seen this too. I went to a U-boat. Everyone only probably was interested in that. The video will come out soon about it. We went to a U-boat. It's a World War II U-boat. It was sold by the Germans to the Finnish government during the continuation war. And it's obviously you can visit it as a museum. I'm sure you've seen my photos. But we got that nice top of the people there. And the people in the Finnish, the military museum, that's where it was, along with the submarine museum. They were very good people. They brought me around and showed me everything. Really genuine people, members of the Defence Forces in Finland. They were great. Were very, very nice. And I got onto, actually, funny you speak about that, we were talking about NATO and stuff, that I got into, I was first time ever on a warship. I was on a minesweeper and a mine layer. The Finnish Navy kindly invited me on to see the ship. I couldn't take any photos, obviously, in the ship, but I could take it outside. So that's great. First time ever on a warship. So it was quite good to see inside of it and stuff. So it was very nice. Obviously, it wasn't. I was given special really VIP thing to see it, so it was great to see it. There's more stuff, but you've probably seen the video. Like there's 2 or 3 photos I took off it out the outside. I couldn't take inside, obviously, but because they were going on patrol in the Baltic somewhere. So, but it was very nice of them to allow me to come on to have a look around and show me around. But it's unfortunate I couldn't take anything. And the same with the Naval College. It was beside the Naval College. I was allowed to go around Naval College, etc., etc. So it was quite good. My first time on a warship. So. And then got a nice bag off the museum, the military museum. Nice Finnish bag, really nice logo, etc., etc. So there's a lot of stuff. So I bought a nice calendar too for this year, next year, etc., etc. It's really, really nice. It goes up. There's a lot of great pictures on it, etc., etc. Like loads of great pictures. Yeah, the person who sold me this, it was quite funny because he was like, "You're Irish," before I even said anything, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm Irish." Well, probably in retrospect, I had that on me, so it makes sense why she would presume I'm Irish. Yeah, keeping the bag, obviously, of course, and keep the bag. But yeah, she was like, "You're Irish," etc., etc. So big discussion about Ireland, etc., etc. Hello, sorry about that tea thing. and pancakes. So lovely. Well, mate, sorry, there's that much here. Yeah, no, it's a pin. The thing, I know it's so small. This here. She's seen that. I don't know how she's seen it. It was on my top. I wouldn't have seen it because it's that small. But it was a good discussion. She was very. Everybody, in fairness, as soon as I said it was Irish, or the knew it was Irish, huge praise for Irish people. More because I was on a tour too, and there was somebody from North Carolina. It was American from North Carolina, and obviously, as soon as I said it was from Ireland, my grandfather was from Ireland. That's the usual thing you get from Americans, and you're just like, good God. Yeah, like in fairness, they could see it because it was only a small thing, and I couldn't get a bigger one. I even requested of the Irish embassy in Finland, and I would have paid them if they could have received me to get one, but they didn't have one, so I had to go and find one somewhere. Could I have an Irish thing with a tricolor, like a tricolor on the Finnish flag? And they couldn't find one for me. But yeah, no, it was a big discussion. Everybody's very fond of Ireland. The tour guide I had too at one stage, and the people in the Parliament. I'll tell you about Parliament now in a second too, the tour guides and stuff like that. But they were all very fond of Ireland, had a lot to say, really liked Ireland. Couldn't speak enough how nice Irish people were, etc., etc. So we're very, very fond compared to the other people because they don't like noise, etc. It's like somebody that speaks normally to them, doesn't shout at them, etc., etc. Like the Americans all like, oh my God, this, that, and the other. Like the over the top Americans. And they're like, they just you hear them a mile away, basically. They're like people that just talk to them normally and doesn't start shouting around the place and stuff like that, shoving things in their face, etc., etc. Like the very reserved people that don't like that or the they don't like that. They like having their own peace and quiet, so they're very fond of that too. That we wouldn't shouting around. That's why I didn't do too many live streams, etc., etc. Because they like their privacy, etc. They don't like being shoved phones in their faces. But yeah, so no, couldn't speak enough with Irish people. I tell you about the people in Parliament too, because it was a great story too in Parliament. But yeah, the woman was very nice. Big discussion about Ireland. She said she went to Ireland back in the 80s, beginning of the 80s, which was young. She said a beautiful place. She was talking about down in Clare, on the cliffs of Moher. She said it's a great country. I said it wouldn't be too great now, unfortunately, if you went around Dublin, etc., etc. But no, couldn't speak highly enough. Couldn't speak highly enough of the country, etc., etc. Then I was saying about okay, you should come to. Obviously, I was shilling for Cavan too. I wasn't just there sitting there saying nothing. I was shilling for Cavan, saying you should come to Cavan sometime. And obviously, I brought my phone out. Then there was big discussion about showing her the castles around Cavan, the lakes and stuff like that. And so, maybe she might come to Cavan because she was like, that's actually quite good. My husband loves fishing. And I was like, this is the place to go. So, signing people up straight away to get on the plane. But no, it was great discussion. Like they're very friendly. Obviously, first of all, they don't know really what to say. They're very awkward. Like they are a bit awkward sometimes. Now, not in the bad way, but they don't know really what to say at first. But the majority of people. But again, when you get talking to them for a few minutes, they open up a bit. If that makes any sense. Like they are very shy and reserved. But they are very, very, very friendly people when you get to know them and you get to talk to them. So it's quite good. And then obviously went to Sumalina, the World Heritage Site, what the submarine and stuff is, and all that. Don't really, I don't know. Like she told me her name again. The Finnish names are just insane. Like I could tell you 100 million names, but the Finnish names are just too insane. Like her second name is just insane. Must be 9 digits or something like that. Like it's insane. Like you talk to any Finnish person. Now it's not just like Sanna or something like that. It's like ludicrous. Some of the names. Like, I couldn't remember half of them. Like there was one woman, I can't remember what she said her name was. No, there was it was just it wasn't like Sanna or into that. It was insane. There was insane kind of names. Like it wasn't just only names, it was Finnish names, and obviously they're very difficult to pronounce. But then I went to Sumalina too, and it's great fun in Sumalina. Obviously used to be owned by the Kingdom of Sweden, except there's video of it and all that. But submarine, etc., etc. And then I bought another ice cream in Sumalina and at a shop there. The ice creams are dear. The one thing you expect to know is ice cream are dear in Finland. It's nearly €5. It was nearly €6 actually for that ice cream in Sumalina. It's insane. Like it's insane just for one ice cream, but nothing on it. Just it's €6. It's actually quite insane. And then the other place too was for 2 ice creams. It was 11 something. Literally the most expensive ice creams ever. And with nothing on, I wouldn't mind with something on it. But yeah. I tell you about Parliament in a second. Just give me a second. I fuck me pie cakes. It'd be grand, and I have them. No, I'm not having me pie cakes because I'm too busy eating the oven. So yeah, just briefly talking. I met actually an MEP too that was going for the European elections on the street. I met this fellow. He's from the Green Party, etc. But it's quite interesting. Because he was taking it back, I think, a bit, that I knew so much. I knew so much about Finnish politics and that. He was taking it back. He kind of didn't really know what to say to me when I explained basically what he was going to explain to me. He was a bit taken aback, but I don't think he got in as far as I know. But he was nice enough. Then he was saying about Ireland, etc. Obviously, I was shilling for Cavan too. Don't think I didn't go over to some country. I didn't say you should come to Cavan. We're the happiest country in the world. We're the true happiest country. And obviously, I was saying about Leitrim too. I was trying to get some support for taking over Leitrim. It's fair to say that the Finnish government have said 100% to have back and to have a referendum for Cavan Leitrim unity. So 100% for that. Also, when I was at the military museum too, I got these nice postcards. There's a few of them. I don't have them with me now, but there's nice ones. The Finnish military, etc. Goes to veterans. The money you buy your postcards, etc. Go to veterans. This is one of many. I have the other ones downstairs. I get them some other day by you. So that was nice. These go to veterans. The money for them goes counts. There's many things I could show you. There's other things. I have fridge magnets downstairs of other stuff. I have other things over there too. I know I'm talking about 900 miles now. I don't know if Davey's here at the moment. If he's here, just let me know for a second. National team. Yeah, I was asked to the GEA pitch. There's a GEA pitch just outside Helsinki. Yeah, I talked to you, and I don't know, we might get talking tonight about stuff. We'll see how we get on. Yeah, I've got many things. I've got more clothes than what he entered, as you've seen there. And then I got other stuff about people. I got clothes and different things for them. A lot of postcards too. But another thing I will say, and I will have to go talk in all detail about it. It is good public service. Every park has a toilet in it. Has a public toilet that's well maintained and well looked after. As you can see, this is the Greater Helsinki area here, just to show you. They can see so many parks. These are parks. These are parks. Oh, there's so much greenery around the city. This is insane. I didn't even see the comment, so it's okay. Now you set me off, Sean. I hope you're happy. So we went on I'm sure people have seen the videos too. Yeah, the Finnish chocolate. I've obviously ate them because I don't think you would be allowed to bring them out of the country. We went on the Skyway. The Skyway, like the London Eye. There's a video of that to come too. We'll get it up as soon as we can. There's a video of that. So the Skyway, like the London Eye. So the first time I ever was on the Skyway and stuff like that. So tickets of that. The hotel. And also the people in the hotel, I probably will make a video, not video, but talk about it in a different video. They were very nice. They were very good to me and stuff like that. I got the best room in the hotel. Mine was the biggest actually in the hotel. Would you believe my hotel room? Looking out from the streets, the best view they had. So I was well looked after. That's what I. So yeah, I went to a lot of places. It's insane amount of places. If other ones downstairs, I'm just showing you different things out here. Yeah, but the journalism museum was very good. Now, just going back to I don't know what everyone said. Sorry. The food was okay. It wasn't like only tea. You couldn't get only tea, unfortunately. It was black tea, with kind of you put in your own. It's not like a tea bag. It's kind of like scattered tea. And that's what really it is. I thought there's that much documents and stuff like that. But it was okay. There was obviously reindeer and stuff. I didn't have any reindeer stuff. It was obviously wasn't really my thing. So in total, guess how many places I seen like had to go to, and I went to meetings and stuff like that. But I had to go to 47 places or something like that just to see, which was insane. Along with other stuff, and then along with doing this and doing that, like it's quite insane. There's a lot of running around the place, but yeah, it's quite walkable. You can walk easily enough to places, etc. etc. That's the other thing. Sorry, I'm just going through them myself. Like other stuff there to show you now in a sec. You probably should get your thing, Davey, now, hopefully. Because again, I don't know, it probably takes a while for to get from Finland. Because I did post a good few stuff. I nearly, so hopefully it'll get to you soon enough. Yeah, so I've seen a lot of stuff, basically. Yeah, I should have probably bought it. You got it. Oh, very good. You got it. That's great. You should have told me. Fuck's sake, and me worrying that you didn't get it. You got it. I hope you're happy enough for it. Then. You could have told me. Let me just see. Put that back. But see, that was the only one I could get. I'll show you now what I'm talking about. But yeah, I got this nice looking post cabinet. I'm going to put it on the wall. Reflecting thing. And see, I know I'm all business. And then obviously went to the Fire Museum too, which is a very unique museum too, because it's one of the last kind of old school fire things. You still have it, but you got it, but the moving lights, yeah. Like you see this the old school fire station. Like it's years ago you would have had to have been looking at for that. And then I got more of the fridge magnets in the military museum, etc. etc. Like there's some of them here and there's some of them not there. Then obviously PPSH and stuff. So a lot of stuff basically. There's more stuff over there. I think I didn't get as much as I thought I would do it. Like if person knows it's a firehouse, it's still an active fire station too. But as long as you got the thing, Davey, that's the main thing. Because I have to check up. I sent a few postcards to other people, and I don't know that they get them yet. But the one thing I didn't like about Housing, and I say this, is I had to go literally miles to look for a post box. You know, nobody really uses the post. That's kind of gone out of style in Finland. Nobody does that. They do it all by email and stuff like that, or message or whatever. So yeah, obviously it went to Parliament. It was a huge thing in Parliament. I actually got tea and stuff and etc. in Parliament, which was great. Did I try which one? Oh, the Coelian pie. Is that what you're talking about? No, I didn't try the Coelian pie. No, actually, I tell a lie. No, I did. It was all right. It wasn't that bad. I wouldn't be that gone, but it was okay. I had it once and I was happy enough. I did actually, yeah, because the Coelian pie. Yeah, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah. Yeah, the open prison. Yeah, like they do. Like what I do admire that for too, because obviously people don't really do when they go to prison once, they usually don't go back. Because they have a good system. In Ireland, people go into prison and go back in and within a week after they get released, and they have them out walking in the forest, etc., etc. No, they did. They had a monarchy for 6 months and then they got rid of it. It's the only country in Scandinavia that doesn't have a monarchy. The republic have a president. Like the Kingdom of Sweden, Kingdom of Norway, the Kingdom of Denmark, they don't have a monarchy. It's a presidential republic. Now, I met the Speaker of the House. I met the Speaker when I was in Parliament. He's one of the Conservatives things, but he was all right. I didn't have much to say to him. I shook his hand, and that was about it. I didn't say much to him. I could have said a lot more, but I chose not to. Now, who was the politician to open the door for me? I can't really like again. All these don't have normal Irish names, so they're just insane. Like look at some of these names here. Like look at some of these names and try and pronounce them. Like they're insane. Like they're generally insane. Who was it? I know it was somebody from the Green Party, but some woman from the Green Party. Yeah, I think it was not too sure now. She had black hair anyway. It looks like this woman here. I don't know if you can see. Eva Killigal, something like that. But I know I found that insane. Like usually you have to open the door, and only citizens have to open the door for a politician here. So I found it insane that she opened the door for me, and again, not even talking about. Yeah, Quelly and pie. Yeah, Quelly. Yeah. I wasn't that. It was all white. I didn't video and okay. It's the faces. Yeah, seats. It shows you who everybody is. Now it's not up to date, obviously, because Lai Anderson's gone. They've gone to the European Parliament. Obviously, a few of them are. So what happens is funny. It's not a by-election. Just listen to this. I found this extremely funny. They do have a by-election. So say Lai Anderson now has gone to the European Parliament. So whoever came second during the election, so whoever that would be gets our seat. So they do have a by-election. So that doesn't happen. No, I didn't try Mandy Meat. I could have tried Bear. I was going to try Bear. But you know yourself, it might not mix with you, and I didn't want to get sick, etc., etc. Because I had a lot of things. There was a lot of one around, etc., etc. You didn't want to get sick, etc., etc. I'm sure you get what I'm saying. But if I was there for longer, maybe I could have tried something. But I didn't want to get sick. I tried Quelly and pie. What else was it? There was other stuff I tried. Can't really remember. There was other stuff. Yeah, there was other stuff, but I didn't try because you could have got sick. Yeah, I know, but they eat them. But it's usually the old way in this again and stuff like that. But it's unfortunate too because I was invited back to Parliament, and I probably will go if I ever go again. The offer's still there, as they said to me, to go when there's a parliamentary session. The European elections was last Sunday in Finland, and the next day Parliament was only in session for half an hour or so. But basically, I went from that day. So basically, I have an offer to go back when Parliament's in session, etc., etc. But it was very nice of them too. I had an offer to meet whoever I wanted. They could have got whoever I wanted to meet. I could have met any of the politicians they ever wanted. Obviously, I couldn't meet Lai Anderson. She was going for the thing. But there's another story to say about Lai Anderson now in a second. But we'll speak about it later on. But yeah, so I met the Speaker of the House, etc., which was great and stuff like that. I don't think so because we do have another offer on the table. Poor bears, yeah, they do eat the bears, but they're not dear. Like for one slice of bear, you could be down €60. It's very luxury thing because obviously you could be killed getting a bear. But yeah, long story short, that's funny how it works, isn't it? Funny, nobody would have thought that because usually here when a TD resigns or a TD gets kicked off, there's a by-election. There isn't such thing as that in Finland. Whoever comes second in the poll afterwards gets the seat. Whichever party. Insane. Yeah, over that. No, it's not diarrhea, but I didn't want to get sick because I had that much to do and see, and I couldn't want. I didn't want to get sick. Yeah, well, I had a ball. There was a lot of running around now. Like Finnish people too. It's like over here compared to Finland too. People take their time. They don't rush and stuff like that. They take their time. They don't bust themselves. They don't walk themselves into the early grave. If that makes any sense. They're more relaxed, basically. The more relaxed society. They take things easy. They take the time and stuff like that. Yeah, no, I was offered by the Tapua, Mr. Plateau, the Social Democrats in Tapua to come up to Tapua. We probably will take them up on their offer sooner. Soon. Let's put it that way. I can't say soon, but I have been taken up. I have been asked to go up because obviously that's where Santa Marin was, the councillor up there, to go and see the true Mona Lisa in the city hall. So I have been invited. That I will say that I have been invited to go to City Hall to see the true Mona Lisa. So that's to look forward to in the future at some point, sooner rather than later. At some point, I will go to it soon. Let's put that way. But obviously, it probably won't be this year, be next year. So yeah, but there's not that many Kevins too, and there's only one or two I seen around Helsinki, and I was around every nook and cranny. Yeah, but I wasn't that. If I was there for long, I probably would have. But again, it was a lot of running around. I'm sure you get what I'm saying. A lot of doing things, etc. Next time, if I do go, which I will go back to Tapper because again, it was very nice of them to offer me to go and see it. Which I will take them up on sometime. Again, it wasn't cheap. The Britolians, it wasn't cheap again to go to Finland. To go to the northern countries is very dear. Um, it's quite expensive now. It set me back a couple of thousand. Let's put it that way. For the week, quite expensive. I mean, you know. But yeah, no, that's the Parliament there. And yeah, what was it? There's more souvenirs and stuff as that. But yeah, what was I going to say? Yeah, so obviously we had two. I had a tour guide bringing me around the private tour, etc., etc. And now she was very upset because she's been there a long time, and Lai Anderson's been there a long time. She was very upset. She was nearly in tears. This poor woman too. That Lai Anderson was going to the European Parliament. She was very upset about it. Victorians. Even though I'm probably a bit upset too that Lai Anderson is leaving the Finnish Parliament to go to the European Parliament. I think her place probably should be in the Finnish Parliament. But anyway, what was I going to say? But yeah, no. But the woman in question, it was funny too. There was big discussion with her too about Ireland stuff like. She has friends in Tipperary, in Clonmel, where there's trouble at the moment in Clonmel. But she has friends in Tipperary. There's big discussion about Tipperary, etc., etc. I was showing her Matthew McGrath, take for example. I was showing her how the Dáil Éireann works. Here, all the shouting, the Healy ways, etc., etc. And you know, there was big discussion about that. The other tour guides got involved in all that, and it was a good laugh about the Healy ways. I have to say, no, I brought it up on YouTube. It was a great laugh about it. The whole lot of them were looking it up, and it's good fun because that doesn't happen there. There's big, huge rows, etc., etc. They're all very civilized, and they don't get excited, etc., etc. So it was good. It was good fun to see them reacting to the Healy ways. None of them could understand a word what they were saying. And then I was saying about Matthew McGrath, the TD, because obviously our friends from Tipperary. So she'd be asking him about Matthew McGrath, and you know it's quite funny. And then she was saying about other stuff she went to in Ireland too. She went to the Brownie Stone, etc., etc. Like she went to many places, and then she was asking about different things. I think up in Donegal too. You're part of the country too. She was at one stage in her life. She was saying about some place up in Donegal. I didn't know specifically where she was somewhere up high in Donegal, wherever the top of Donegal, somewhere around there. Don't know specifically, it was some place in it. Yeah, like it's shocking too. At the time, that was literally just the day before it. I was talking about it in Tipperary. She was saying how nice Tipperary was, etc., etc. How nice Ireland was too. The height of praise for Ireland too. Really high praise, as I say. Again, somebody that was bringing me around, etc. And then the other ones got involved. It was quite funny, but to see the reaction to the Healy ways, etc., shouting in the Dáil, etc. So, because that doesn't happen over there. People are very civilized. There's no big arguments, basically. But it was quite funny. So, yeah, that was the big discussion. Obviously, I had a meal too in Parliament, which was great. We had a tea and we had something to eat in where the MPs have their dinner, etc. So, like the Dáil Barrel, take for example. Now, just before I say this is just insane too. Like, imagine saying this to your TD in Ireland that they can't put it on their tip. You know, the Irish taxpayer can't pay for those thing. It's expected of MEPs in Finland over there. They have no such thing as taps and things that they have to pay there and then. They're not allowed to pay later whenever. They have to pay it right there, right now. So imagine saying that to a TD in Dáil Éireann that literally would die. And they're not allowed to, not owe money or anything. They have to pay it straight away. And there's no BO into that. And it's not discounted. You know the way in Dáil Éireann have discounted prices for drinks and stuff like that because they have no money, etc., etc. That doesn't exist in Finland, unfortunately. So, they have to pay the full price, which should be the way because, again, and again, just to say, the MEPs in Finland own less than an only TD here, just to say. It's quite insane. Yeah, like in England, it'd be like similar food. Over there, it'd be a bit different. If it makes any sense. Like in England, it would be similar enough to Ireland. But reindeer, obviously, I'm sure if you went over to London now, or maybe not London, some places in London now, you might get a body or something to eat, to be totally honest, in some parts of it. But if you went to some normal place in the UK, like Scotland or something, and said, "Where's the reindeer?" I'm sure they'd be like, "What the fuck are you on? Eating reindeer?" Or where's the bear? Where's the bear? It's a bit Irish and English food is a bit similar, compared to Finnish. Norwegian or something like that. What sauce? What? I didn't have any sauce. I just had really basic stuff. But yeah, no, it was great fun now talking to her about Chippewa and stuff. And she was a good guy too. She was telling about the woman on the wall. She was very fond of the woman on the wall too. Very supportive. And again, this is a woman in the 60s, and so. But yeah, she liked this woman a lot anyway too, and the same with the other staff. They liked her a lot more than the current prime minister and stuff. They don't like them at all. Yeah, there's a lot of stories. There's many things I could say. Hello. You ought to see the movement. So yeah, you have your movement, Davey. Just if Davey's still here, you still have your other movement. I got you. As long as your father didn't give it to somebody else, that's your movement. We don't want to give him, but there's your movement. There's loads of movements. Movements are a huge thing in Finland. Yeah, that's okay. As long as you have it now, that's the main thing. Because I was worried that it wouldn't get to. But that's okay. Yeah, you probably didn't understand at all what I was saying because it's all Finnish, the post and stuff. But yeah, movement, Teddy. I got to Davey a movement too. You probably seen the thing. The other one was for Davey. So just the thing because I couldn't go to Finland without buying a movement. Now there's movement cafes. There's movement everything. There's movement shops, etc., especially for movements, etc. So, but it is a huge thing in Finland. These movements, they're everywhere. People like it. You probably often heard Sanna Mauen talking about it too. No, it's a huge thing. It's a huge thing. Everybody in Finland grew up with it. And I got this job and stuff like that in shops and stuff, in the hat and stuff. And there's other stuff there to show you. Yeah, I know you wanted the Moo and I was going to get you a Moo. I know that sounds fucking weird. Angry Birds, yeah. Yeah, other stuff. It's a huge gaming thing in Finland. But you wanted something, I had to get you something, especially because you're helping me out with the editing and stuff like that for the whole lot of this shebang. It's going to take time and stuff, so we had to get you something. I should have sent you a postcard along with it, but anyway, if I go again, I send people postcards, so I should have probably sent a few people postcards because I did send postcards things. So yeah, there's the Moo. I didn't know. Again, I got Davey the other one. I didn't know which one he wanted because there was this one and the other one. Those are the many in the shop when I went in. There was the teddies are well bought up, and then obviously the top. Unfortunately, they had a top for me for Helsinki Day. I must have forgot to take it with me. I must have left it in the Social Democrats place because they had a top with Helsinki Day on it for me, and I must have forgotten. I don't remember where I put it. I must have left it with them because I can't remember because I can't remember what I did with it because I didn't live in the hotel. But it doesn't matter. I get it at some stage, I know. Because that was the main reason why I was asked over. But it doesn't matter. So I find it at some stage. I'm sure they might, if they find it, they posted me. But I just thought about it there earlier on. But yeah, that's what happened. Give me a second. Sorry, let's give me 2 seconds. Oop, dropped in the place. Then obviously you've probably seen this, the big job with the flag and things on it. Yeah, but yeah. So when we go to Tapwood, whenever that'll be, we will go because we probably have to see the Mona Lisa, the real Mona Lisa in City Hall. We have to go and do it. I'm sure you would agree. It's a pity, as one of them said to me. The thing is, I could have actually met Sanna Mauen. I could have actually met her if she wasn't in the Tony Blair Institute, etc., etc. That's the sad reality. So we could have had a nice interview with Sanna Mauen. Imagine that. If she was an MP and stuff like that, we could have met her there. But it's the fact of the matter, she was in Switzerland, she was in Germany and stuff like that. She wasn't in Finland when I was there, unfortunately. So it's quite unfortunate, but that's what it is. Because there was, in fairness to the people in the Social Democrats that I knew, they made an effort to try and see was she a favour, etc., etc. So there was an effort made to try and get her. What I mean by get her, but you get what I'm saying. No, avoiding me. No, not avoiding. But again, she has worked for the Tony Blair Institute. It's the fact of the matter that she's not really a public official. She has her own things to do in Switzerland and stuff like that. So not avoiding me, stalker. No, I'm not a stalker. No, but you get what I'm saying. She has other things to do. She was in Switzerland. Now she's in Germany and stuff like that. But that's where she is at the moment. Yeah, well, we see, But I got me house Siggy band too. You've probably seen me wearing it too. There's other stuff I get now in a second. Now I will say, I was offered tickets. But I know I was offered tickets to go to Oslo. No, you probably wait and see for a second. I was offered tickets to go to Oslo in September. They had it there for me if I wanted to go, because some of the Social Democrats were going, and the people I knew in the Social Democrats, I was offered to go to Oslo. And you probably wonder why I was offered to go to Norway, because she's going to the business conference in Oslo in September. To be totally honest, I wasn't really up to go to Norway to go to Norway specifically. So I could have went if I wanted to, because I would have got free tickets to go to the business conference, but I didn't want to because it'd be all big. High noises in that place, So I didn't go to that, even though again I could have took the tickets. So just to let you know, too, I could have went there too. So we could have went to Norway too, but I don't think I would want to go to Norway too. There's other stuff downstairs. I have to try and get him now in a second. You have to give me a second now. Oh, what am I done? Lapland? No, I don't think I go to Lapland now. We could, but not really up for Lapland, to be totally honest. Maybe, but I don't think so. We'll probably go to Tapua. If you look up Tapua, it's the second biggest city in Finland. That'll probably be where we will go. And some other places, maybe. Because I wouldn't last in the winter, just to say. Because again, I was asked originally to go at Christmas, as the 6th of December. But again, I'm sure you would agree, minus 25 degrees, minus 30 degrees in Helsinki, not the most nicest conditions, to go into a country literally when it's 10 feet of snow. Because it's Finland, It might be nice now, but in the winter, it's not that nice. But the only reason why I wouldn't go to Norway now, Oslo particularly, because I know she's going to that and I would have got tickets because there was tickets there if I wanted to go. Because it'd be too rowdy to there'd be too many high up people with business suits and stuff like that, and I wouldn't be into that crack. But not even that. Oslo is it's a deal place too, the same as Finland, because obviously it wasn't cheap. It's not cheap going up to these countries. It might be cheap going to Spain or something, but going to the Nordic countries, you're paying huge money, and I mean literally huge money. It's quite insane now, to be totally honest. It's literally quite insane. I don't even think I want to say the number because I think people might faint. Because it is quite eye-watering when you see the price for a cabin person. Oh yes, actually, there was somebody in the Finnish Parliament too. There was a guide, and they're from a part of Finland. I can't remember. Somewhere up near Lapland. And they're known as mean and stingy, this area. And it's like Cavan, as I was saying, the Irish version of Cavan, some part in Finland. and then known as being stingy, etc., etc. So it's a big discussion about being stingy, people being stingy. But I don't know. Could they argue I was being stingy going to that country? But they're known. It's basically the cavan of Finland. Cavan of Finland. But yeah, so good fun. I don't know where we get talking tonight, Davey. I didn't think it'd be on for this long, but we see anyway. But there's no hurry on it. But we work it out anyway. Something all the stuff. For a day, for the day. I went for the week, so you can imagine. No, it wasn't cheap. No. But yeah, it's not like we're going to go bankrupt or something like that. Where did I knock that off? I did. Fuck, bitch. Pig gilly. Feet too. Aye, ketos. Yeah, and one of the fuckers, excuse my language, not fuckers, but one of the people I knew in the social that were fighting me over literally spoke Irish to me when I first arrived at the airport. Spoke Irish to me, just to say, like, he said fucking hello in Irish, which I was taken aback by. I was generally taken aback that he literally spoke Irish. He learned Irish just to say hello to me. Like that bit in Irish. He spoke, like a Finnish post spoke Irish. I couldn't fucking get over that fucking crack. I was gobsmacked when I heard that. Hello, Shawnee. You were asking about do they speak much English and stuff in Helsinki. Yeah, everybody can really speak English and stuff like that. There's one person who couldn't speak English. I dropped a good point. Everybody can speak English. Some broken English, but you can understand basically. But there's a lot of stuff we could learn as a country from Helsinki. Because again, there's not literally. I was around every part of Helsinki. Not one homeless person, not one building around the city centre lying idle, or etc. etc. They're doing up the whole city too. Every place is under construction, being modernised, etc. It's insane. What's happened here? Big discussion. Yeah, like they're up in Lapland. Obviously, I'm a good bit away down in the south. Who is on the fucking phone? Excuse me, language. I have to go and get the other stuff. Yeah, but it's not a problem in Finland. Literally, nobody's begging for anything in Finland. Nobody's doing it. And it's very clean. There's not literally. You could go down the street in Helsinki and not see one bit of litter. The whole place is immaculate. Like it is just generally everything's very clean and very modern, and it's insane. Like it's insane. It's what Dublin should be. Like it's a first world country. It should be. Like and it's insane too. Just to see, I went to some of the councilmen and stuff like that there too. Like they employ a lot of councilmen. Like yourself, probably in your local authority. They want people to do it voluntary now. They want people to go out and do things for nothing for the councils here. In Helsinki, they're paying men to do it. They're keeping the streets. They're paying men. They're giving them good money to clean the streets and make sure they're good and clean for people coming to the city, etc., etc. And that's what's good about it compared to here. Take for example in Cavan, they want people to do it for voluntary. They want people to volunteer to do it. They want people to go out and do it for the council for nothing. And the same in Dublin. They want people to do it for nothing for the councils, etc., etc. Which isn't right. And again, that just shows you it is work, and they've loads of men employed, loads, even women. Have women in the council doing the job I'm doing here. And they're doing great work. They are generally doing great work. There's not one bit of rubbish or anything around. And the same with the parks. The parks are in great condition. There's no dog shit in any of the parks or anything like that. It's insane. Imagine an only dog fine too in Helsinki if you're caught not picking up after your dog. It's nearly 5,000, nearly 5,000 to 7,000 euro if you're caught. And the fact of the matter is, if you're caught doing, you're going to be prosecuted. It's not like here where you can get off with it. Like they're going to make sure you're prosecuted. They don't take much shit. Basically, the law is a big thing over there. Like I can tell you too. Do you know what traffic? You know in Dublin the lights and stuff like that when you have to cross Green Man and Red Man, etc., etc. People literally in Finland, and I done the same thing when I was over there. Even if there's nothing coming on any side of the road, they wait for the Green Man. They have to. The Finnish society is based on rules. They follow the rules. They don't break the laws. They follow the rules, etc., etc. So literally nothing could be coming on the road, and they still will wait for the Green Man, even though it's clear. Like it's insane. Like it is insane. They have a lot of patience too when you see them kind of things. They don't cross over like in Dublin. They walk out in front of cows, etc., etc. They're very patient. They follow the rules. And the Spectre, and I think I suppose why they're happy too, because the Spectre and firemen, they just don't fuck everything around the place. Like over here, we just fuck everything everywhere. The Spectre and firemen around them. They want to keep it as nice as possible, etc., etc. And they have fucking almighty amount of flowers. Everywhere you look, there's hundreds of thousands of flowers. I don't know how they get the money for all. But there's flowers everywhere. You've probably seen me put up a picture. I think Fiona's seen it, like the innovation to take the rainwater, etc., etc., to stop using water, etc., etc., to use the rainwater to water the flowers, etc., etc. It's insane. I get the other ones tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Some other day. The fridge magnets and stuff. I not go down for them now, but I go down tomorrow. I get them some other day when we're live. Remind me to show you them. What else was there? Is there anything around here I forgot about? Could be, but I can't remember. Oh, that's you. So I was given this yoke too by the people in Finland I know. So that was great. So it's a nice thing that's going to stand beside me. Stand behind me, sorry. Excuse me. So that's great. So that's going to be behind me there. Everybody's probably sick of me. If you have any other questions, I can talk at the end. But ask me anything about it, basically. Hey, pancakes. But it must have been quite a shock for everybody to see me in Timbuktu. I don't think anybody had that on the bucket list, especially because of how quiet it was kept. Like Dave Vietnam himself. I told him literally the last minute nearly that we're off to the land of Finland. What was good job? But yeah, no, there's some YouTube shorts kind of up. I know people have been not too fond of them, but this. So this is a good video here. It shows you. I don't know, but let me see. And then obviously the tram and then the meme wall. You've seen this one here. Then the parade thing. Then the military band thing. Let me see. I think Sean's seen the military thing. Jewish citizenship. No, I don't think it's Jewish citizenship. Now, there was a bit of panic. I probably should address this too. Just before I go, there was a bit of panic here in Cavan because I left literally without telling anybody during the night, not the night, but in the early hours of the morning, off to Dublin. Literally without really telling anybody. No, I told nobody, and just slipped away. And a lot of people, particularly with the council election too, the next day, a lot of people thought I was doing a political statement. That have left the country and gone into exile. That's literally what I would say if I was going off. I would go into exile. So a lot of people thought I was gone for good and I wouldn't come back. To be totally honest, why the fuck did I come back? That's what literally, not even a week. It was barely it was a few days. But a lot of people were very worried about that I was gone for good. They left and went into exile. So I didn't go into exile. So I'm still here. So I don't think about Jewish citizenship now. We couldn't do that. But no, but just actually before I go, some of the left alliance earlier on too. In fairness, there was one person I was talking to during one of the campaign things on the street. There was a man there and there was a woman. The woman offered, the old way Lai Anderson had a kind of baseball cap and stuff, she offered to give it to me, her baseball cap. And now obviously she had to pay for it. She paid for the next ride, because I couldn't get one because they're all sold out of cupcakes. So it was very nice of her to offer to give it to me, but I didn't take it offer. But they're very generous, like they are very generous people, just to say. Because she paid, something like €40 for that hat, and she was willing to give it to me as a tourist. because I was talking to them, etc., etc. And they didn't really have to inform me what was happening because I could tell them what was happening. For someone that knows stuff. My fucking voice is gone. Um, yeah, just show you this one here briefly. Yep. Yeah, so this is on Sumalina. You probably see this is a good view of Helsinki, etc., etc. So this is a YouTube short at the moment. You probably can't hear it, but there's no at the aircraft going. This is from the Second World War. So Helsinki's over there. You probably can see my mouse. I know it might not be the best quality, because so this is an old cannon from the Swedish time, this Kingdom of Sweden, when the Kingdom of Sweden owned Finland, etc., etc. This is some of the videos that were released. So Helsinki's over here. You can see the big two cruise ships. And at the moment when I was on this too, it was nearly 20 degrees. Imagine that in Helsinki. Yeah, this is literally 300 or 400 years old. These cannons, and you can see literally the sky is just pure blue everywhere. But it's a good view. Excuse me, a good view of the city. There, there's the city in the background. Yeah, pause. Especially when you walk up and see the aircraft gun there. Like these are dotted around everywhere of Finland. Um, like these are up. There's obviously more footage and stuff like that, but I showed them eventually when we get them edited and stuff. These are just short ones, and then obviously the meme wall and stuff like that. Yeah, not multiple typically. Yeah, yeah, I know that. I know that. Jeez, you're telling me like I don't know this, Sean. I've been literally explaining it out and only for the last 7 hours. We were talking about it back when we were talking about NATO a while ago. I'm aware of the others. I could tell them. I was at the Civil Defence Museum on Helsinki Day, and these were high-ranking people in the Civil Defence, and they thought I knew nothing about Finnish history, etc., etc. And they literally were shocked when I actually could tell them about things. They were shocked. So I know a good bit about it. Because I could tell them what was this and who was this and Mannheim, etc., etc. And they were just blown away that I knew all this stuff. Then obviously we had the military parades, but there's loads of other footage too. Like there's tons of other footage. But yeah, and as I say, it was on the submarine too. But yeah, so definitely we'll go back to Tabway. We won't be probably this year. We'll see how we get on maybe. But I don't fancy going to Oslo, just to say. Like on only point two, I know some of the people will be asking me the pints. How much is a pint? I didn't take a pint. I was in some of the Irish pubs, you've probably seen it. But it's about 10 to 15 euros in some pints for an only pint. As I say, it's quite dear alcohol in Finland. I'll show you this now. So yeah, this is one of the magnets. I don't have it with me at the moment, but it's handcrafted. As you can see, it's well done. It's really well done. Ooh, let me. Ooh, community. Ooh, where the fuck am I? Yeah. So this was how Helsinki do. So we're at a nice cafe. It's just going to come up. Probably shouldn't click on it. It might not go. Yeah. See, this is the worst thing about these fucking computers. So yeah, this is nice here. See the nice flowers. They really like the flowers. You can see here the nice flowers. This is along up by the Social Democrats headquarters. Stuff like that, the bridge and stuff there. That's not. Just give me a second. Like racing's a big thing too there too in Finland. There's race car tracks and stuff. I wouldn't be interested in that kind of stuff, but I could have probably went. There was a rally on some part of Finland. I remember because I was watching the news in Finland too. I couldn't understand the word of it, but I could understand what they were saying. Like there's loads of footage, like there's loads of bits of videos of it. As I say, I didn't record maybe as much as I because I don't want to interfere when people finish people's privacy. Because again, you have to remember that we keep saying about people coming to our country. I'm a guest in their country. I can't be just going around and pushing into their faces, because it's not be correct going over to their country and doing that kind of stuff. So this is the Civil Defense Museum. So as you can see, these are bombs from the Soviets. These are Soviet bombs here. Again, it's annoying that they won't put more pictures. It's only 5 per time. That's what they do part 3. This is kind of gas mask. This is what they would have had to use if the Soviets used gas. Thankfully, they didn't. But these are world medals and stuff like that. I think they're SS or something. The Mannerheim Cross is there or somewhere. Obviously, there's Mannerheim stuff, etc., etc. Again, some of these might be a bit blowy too, but so this is pictures of bombing, etc., etc. during the continuation war. And so my hotel was on this street here. This is modern day Helsinki. This is what it looked like in 1944 during the bombing, etc., etc. Now, obviously, Helsinki didn't get as bad as very polite. Yeah, people in Japan are very polite. Yeah, they are very polite people, but I do think people in Finland are more polite too. But they're very reserved. Like Japan might be more open to talk to you. People in Finland won't talk to you unless you talk to them, and they kind of trust you, I suppose, in a way. So the Civil Defense Museum was in as a bunker. This used to be a bunker during the Second World War. And there's hundreds of these dotted around the whole place, modern bunkers that are literally airway shelters at the moment. There are 50,000 active airway shelters in the country at the moment. I was in the nuclear bunker in Finland. I was in airway shelters that are open now. The subways can be used as airway shelters too in Finland. Like I seen all this firsthand, basically. I fucking clicked on the fucking Who and Baston thing. Well, give me a second. The Who and Baston. Sorry, I shouldn't have clicked on the fucking thing. Yeah, sorry about that. Give me a moment. Jesus, he kept me longer than I thought it would be today. Poor Davey's probably saying, fucking we ever go away. He's probably always just saying, shut the fuck up, please. But yeah, you haven't seen the end of it yet. So this is where we were. Where was this? Yeah, so this is an underground. So we have to go a few feet down to the Civil Defense Museum. So as you can see, we know who would like this, Davey. Like these are what gas masks, etc., etc. And that's pretty much from a different angle, the other thing. This is what bunkers would have looked like back in the 40s, etc., etc., like that. And you were wondering too what this is. I don't know what this is, Fiona. You were asking me too what it is. So this is like a finished house, I suppose, from back in 1945 or so. What they would have had tea and stuff like that. And obviously, you see Hitler. This is when Hitler committed suicide in Berlin. This is original. This is an original paper from the Helsinki Times back then. So literally over 80 years old or so, a bit more. And as you can see, Helsinki is the best city to party. So if I would have went out party, maybe I could have met a good friend, Sana. I laughed at Niall McConnell earlier on saying, is that your girlfriend? I only thought about that now a second ago. It's better to say nothing until you hear more. Say nothing until you hear more. As you see here, two very unhappy people. So this is so this was and blah, 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 and Helsinki Day. So I was just chilling, having tea. As you see me here, just chilling. Obviously, the Helsinki teacher was getting painted up here. The main thing's getting painted. So the nice bar here, you can get your drink and stuff like that. They didn't have Lucas at end. It was just Sprite and orange. And as you see about the mummy too, I don't know why somebody would go to destroy mummies, but that's a story for a different day. So we went to the toy museum. I know some people would find this creepy. Toys. There's more photos than this, but these are old toys. This toy here dates back to 1885, just to say. 1885. Remember this. 1885, nearly more than 100 years old. Like some of these photos might not be the best. Because the lighting, it wasn't that great lighting, as you see here. Old toys. Again, there's a nuisance why they can't let you put more than 5. Yeah, that's just a picture there. They only put up one about the toy museum. It must have. I probably should have put more up, but I didn't. This is SeaWorld, so the animals and stuff. They go to SeaWorld and fish and stuff. Now there's more fish, there's jellyfish and stuff like that. There's more than that. That's a stingray, isn't it? Or whatever you call that, milks. And there's a big fucking yellowfish. Like I should have probably took more photos, but I didn't really. Yeah, as I keep saying, Japan is not doing too well in the belt weight. So is Finland. Finland's not doing well, but I do get, to be totally honest, because they have a very pro-family policy, even though, because the babies and children are supported heavily, they have free education, etc., etc. So something I didn't understand too. So this was Extinction Rebellion, as you can see over the police were everywhere. There must have been about 50 police around. There was only about, give or take, there was 90 police probably around the whole place. So these blocked the whole city. So it's just down from my hotel room. They blocked all the trams, etc., etc. The whole city was chock blocked. Like, I don't get what they're saying about. Because literally, when I was flying in on the plane, take example, 75% of Finland is forest. It's trees, forest. Um, everybody uses really public transport and stuff. Nobody really has private cars in the cities, etc., etc. So I don't really know what they're complaining about. People harming the environment, etc., etc. And then the cleanest tap water in the world, etc., etc. I don't really know where they're coming from with that because to be totally honest, it seems like they're very pro environment and stuff like that. Because every street had a recycling sector on it, and the huge, even in my hotel room, they had recycling stuff. It was insane the amount of recycling, etc. Everything's been recycled and reused. Like it's all about the environment over in Finland. So I don't get why they'd be protesting. As you see in the distance too, because there literally was no traffic going down apart from this car, whoever that person was. And anybody who has a car has the electric car. Is this going to load? Fuck! I was going to probably fucking pig it. This was in an Irish pub, Molly Malone's down the street. So this is the War Museum, like the military museum. As you can see here, there's trench exhibition and stuff like that. Here's medals and stuff. I think the Mannerheim Cross is there somewhere. The highest award. There's an old mine and stuff like that. It's going to go over there. And then clothing and stuff with the war, etc., etc. Like there's all videos about it, so at least it's just photos, kind of horse-drawn carriage and stuff like that. Here's a big artillery gun. Models of battleships. The kid's a replica of a Nazi plane, etc., etc. This is a Nazi tank. This is a Nazi light tank that Hitler used. No, not Hitler specifically, but the Germans used that. The aircraft gun. As I say, Finnish Navy kind of uniform things. Don't know why it doesn't have, but this is a Finnish guard post from the Winter War. But they have a guard, like the guard border crossings, is what you call them. So this is in the submarine. I didn't get much because it was very dark. And I say the footage would be very dark in some way because it's obviously submarine. It doesn't have much light. Different knobs, etc., etc. Might not be the best because again, it was pretty dark. This is going up to the conning tower, up to the top to use the deck gun, etc., etc. Because it was really dark in this place. So this is the submarine, as you can see here. So you can see it really pokes out and stuff. The medals. Yeah, you can see this is the torpedo tubes where they load the torpedoes to sink ships. These are the bunks that would have slept. Imagine this is all you would have had in the submarine back in the day in the Finnish Navy. Just a small bed. That's all you had. Then dishes and stuff like that. Like the footage would probably be a bit more clearer, maybe footage. And this is the Naval College, obviously, too. So these are the two. You probably can see them. But these are. I was on this one here, the top one. These are mine, like mine layers. Active Finnish warships, NATO ships. I know everyone only probably like NATO ships. You're on NATO ships, but I was kindly invited on to have a look around. As I say, I couldn't unfortunately take photos inside the ship because obviously it's an active Navy ship. I can't go in and start videoing it. And then obviously I was leaving on patrol. Then I can't click into it, but you can see it just leaving there on patrol. That was pretty cool. And I don't know why I repeated this, but anyway. Then it was at a nice cafe. See, in Finland, you know the way in Ireland you would get biscuits along with your drink or whatever. We got sweets. They like those sweets. They're very fond of those sweets. This was nice. Then there's obviously a pub tram. Would you believe there's such thing as a pub tram? You can go on and actually get alcohol on a pub tram. That's what this is. And then obviously the house tea teacher there. This is my tea, just to say. It's black tea. I had to put it was kind of bits of tea. You know that yolk here, like you can put it in. Somewhere, yeah. But here's the thing too. Um, like I could have actually met Lyanne or something, for example. I actually could have, if I would have went out of my way to go down. Because see, I was told by when I was talking to the social, like the left alliance that time, when I was talking to them that day, I was there. They told me that Ly Anderson was supposed to be only down the street from where I was before the election that night, that Saturday night. Now I probably could have, I should have probably went down and just asked her maybe a few questions and stuff about it, because I knew probably she would get in anyway. But she was down at the Espinelli Park, which is basically just down from my hotel room. So I could have met Ly Anderson if I wanted to, because I was told where she would be and what time where she would be. So I could have went down. I probably should have went down, but I didn't go down. Because it would have been as good to interview one of the politicians. At least maybe she would be open to be interviewed. They know that's the only Finn on the street, you know what they did, because they wouldn't be too pleased with that if you just stopped them on the street, because they'd rather just not. They're very shy people. Again, I was going to show this earlier on. This is their support before the election, 7.6%. That's what the true Finns were at. As you can see, it didn't go too well the European elections. That literally 1% support now. That's all they have. So literally, her with the sitters saying she's going to cut everybody's money didn't go too well. It didn't go down too well. Is this going to fucking load? Take play. So this is the library, just to say. This is the public library that opened in 2018. So as you can see, free 3D printing. You can get things printed for 3D for free in a public library. This is literally what Cavan and Ireland should have. This is the libraries we should have. Chessboards, etc., etc. Like, it's insane. Chessboards. Like, it's fucking like a big... like, if you look it up, it's insane. This is a public library. Like, look at this. It's 3-story library with everything. Quiet rooms, etc. People for autism. Sewing machines. 3D printers. Like, it's fucking... And gaming rooms. You can literally go in there to play games, etc., etc. It's insane. And computers, modern computers, like the most high-tech computers ever, thousands and thousands of euro worth computers, just for the public to use. You can see Parliament, etc., etc. Nice thing there, cafe and stuff in it. It's insane. Like, these are cafes, restaurant in the library. Like, it's fucking insane that this is a public library that you can just walk into. Like, obviously, if you get to go to the cafe, you have to pay for stuff, but it's a public library. Like, you can see the good flowers and stuff like that. It's really, really nice and clean, as you can see. They're just immaculate. And then I went to a cat cafe too. I'm sure David, but I didn't get much footage, unfortunately, because all the cats were nearly asleep, unfortunately, when I was there. That was the worst thing about it. I picked the worst time. Yeah, like, it's insane. But guess what? The funniest thing was, they built that in 3 years. Imagine that was now and take 9 billion years. And they didn't go over budget. It was on the money. They didn't go a cent over the budget. So I don't know how we can't do that in Ireland. In Finland can do it. Because if that was in Ireland, you bet your fine dollar that it would take 9 billion years to build that, and it would cost billions of euros. So I was in the cat cafe, where literally you can go and see cats and stuff like that. As you see the nice cat in my tea. You probably can see it better on the next one. Like, there's not much video from this, unfortunately, because the cats. You can see the little cat. You can see the cat up top. I don't know if you can see there on the thing. The cats could just run around the top and etc. and run around the place. Like, as you see, the cat was asleep. And then the cat moved off. Unfortunately, there was no really cats there. There was a cat there who was beside me. All the cats were kind of in bed, so they wouldn't kind of up. Unfortunately, it was a bit too late, but they're all big fat cats, and they're just not bothered to move. But no, it was a good memory. And then obviously the memory to the Children's War. What? The Civil War, I meant to say. This is a mistake. Children's War. I meant to say Civil War. I only noticed this now. Civil War. Children's War, man. Oh, no. I only noticed that now. Children's War, man. Civil War. See. But yeah. This is a nice hot chocolate. The first time in years I had hot chocolate at a Cafe Regatta, one of the most famous cafes in the city. As I say, it was very nice. It was very good. It was very nice. As I see, old style wooden cafe, like as you see there. Nice in the marina too. See, I'm like a Finnish person because they talk, they keep talking and hear while they're speaking. You often hear Sanna Mauen doing that. So this is Parliament here too. So we were here having tea in Parliament and where the MPs and stuff have, which was great. So we're all just looking at the medals. So these are Mannerheim's medals here. You probably didn't see those. There was a good bit of a crowd. There was a tour at the time here, so I didn't want to video obviously their faces, etc., etc. But these are Mannerheim's medals, like Mannerheim. But I did find this interesting. This is in Parliament here. So I wandered in because I was with other people too. Like I was with people from the Social Democrats, and then there was a tour along with us. So we went into the Parliament together to look. It's a ways to show me, along with the parliamentary staff that was with me too. These statues, you probably see the woman with the child. So these represent Finnish society. You know, the mother with the child, the man walking the land. I think this one is. There was another statue here behind the pillar. But basically, it's a good thing too. It's a good concept. For MPs. So the government sit here, the opposition sit down here. I don't really like the government sitting in the high chair, but anyway, what do you expect? But long story short, when they're supposed to be in Parliament, the MPs, they're supposed to be looking up at these statues to think about the people that are impacted, the people in Finnish society, the people that rely on them to make good decisions, etc., and to look after them. So it is a good reminder, like to think of the child and the woman, to think about the man walking the land, etc. It's something about just include, like making sure the people are represented. Here's a better picture, as you see. Again, Parliament was only adjourned a few minutes before I came in. As you see, big marble stairs, etc., but still very modest. Probably lets the house. Big marble stairs, etc. Yeah, Sinn Féin done well in Monaghan too. Just actually brief one, as it. Yeah, so here we are. Here's another thing. I know probably people just saying, shut the fuck up. In Parliament, yeah, when I was there, as I guess the Social Democrats. Like, not many people get to say they had tea and stuff and had buns and stuff like that. Obviously, there's a thing in Finland. Like, there was a big argument with the two people who was with me. Because do you know what they do in Finland? Say you bring your friends out to the pub now in the morning, now showing up to the cafe. You pay for yourself, or somebody pays, right? Over in Finland, you pay half of the bill. I pay half of the bill. Say it's €14, I pay €7, he pays €7. They nearly went mad at one stage. I went into a cafe along with them, and they nearly went mad because I paid the bill. I paid for everybody. Because again, they were showing me around. It was good of them to take time off to show me around and stuff like that. So they nearly went mad because in Finland it's customary for everybody to pay their share. You get separate bills, etc., for the meal. So they nearly went mad, and obviously I paid there too in Parliament. I wasn't going to, because again, you really have to too, because it's not like in Dáil and you wouldn't get off for not paying. Basically, it's same with the MPs; they have to pay. And the good thing about it is there's no alcohol or anything like that, so it's just tea and stuff like that, so they can focus on what they're doing. Because in Dáil, I think they have a two cushy. But again, this statue. So this is outside Stockman, which is a famous store. And then I went down to the Irish embassy, etc. I did meet an Irish diplomat. He was from Waterford. He was Niall something. It was Niall O'Boylan or something like that. Niall O'Boylan, something like that. Something O'Boylan. No. But he was from Waterford there. So it was pretty cool. I just went to see where the Irish embassy was, etc. It was not. This was one of the days that wasn't too pleasant in the weather-wise. And then this was interesting here. Deer made out of beer cans. I don't know if people could see that, but yeah, it's a nice place. It is really a safe place, and it's a nice place to go. It is dear now. I will admit that. If anybody's ever going to go to Finland, be prepared to pay a huge price, basically, because it's not cheap now. Like for me to get to Finland for the week, just to get there for the hotel and for the flights and the taxi or whatever, a few other things added in. It was about 5,000. And then adding you spend the money on different things. About maybe 8,500 or something, give or take. Pretty much, yeah, something like that. A lot of money. It's a lot of money. Because you're in Scandinavia, what do you expect? And that's just for really a basic hotel, basically. Now, we didn't really get too lousy or anything like that. But it's quite a lot of money. Because you have to remember, people in Finland go to college because it's for universities, etc. So things are going to be dear because people have good jobs and have good salary, etc. So to know the Irish Joe, it would be a lot more because they're actually more wealthier than you or me. in Ireland. They have more money than you and me. But it's quite a lot. It was quite a lot. Like the flights to Finland are expensive, etc., etc. And just to say, my mother came along with me, but she wasn't there most majority of the time because I brought her with me because she never was on holiday for the last. Would you believe she never left the country in 30 years? So I brought her along with me. So that's including 2 people, I suppose, too. Even though I was away majority of the day on my own. She came with me at some stage, but yeah. But majority of the time I was with them, I was on my own, etc., etc. But it's quite a lot, if you can imagine. So yeah, it was about 5,500 or so to get there and spend money. But nearly 9. You could nearly say 9,000, so give or take. So because imagine if she went last time she went away was literally before 30 years ago, before there was even passports to go away. So she enjoyed it too. She had a good time looking around and stuff like that. But she didn't enjoy. She went into a hairdresser. This is the one thing she didn't enjoy. For wash and blow dry, you probably know yourself, Fiona. You probably pay an hour and 15 euros, maybe 10 euros, maybe. Right. In Finland, you probably have to sit down probably for a second for wash and blow dry, not just to get in the colour one in your hair. And I paid it for to get it done. That was €50, please, just for wash and blow dry. Like this is that's just the only price for every woman in Finland because again things are expensive over there. So she got it done anyway, so she's happy with that. And she got a few things. She got a few necklaces and stuff like that. So she was happy with it. But that's just for wash and blow dry. And the colour one would have been another 120 or something like that. But she didn't want a colour one done. But just going to show you how expensive really it is. It's not the country you shouldn't go to. It was not even cut your own hair. It was only a wash. You wash your hair and a blow dry, to blow it and to get it dried and stuff like that. That's all it was. It wasn't the colour one. The colour one would have been 120 added on. Me, like it, well, no, she wanted it done, and we went down that. I went down to ask, and I paid them for it. I didn't get anything done with my hair. I went and got it done before I can. But yeah, that's just the only price for somebody in Finland, just to say. So if you think it's bad here, we go over there. But again, I was willing to pay the price because it was a good holiday and it was invited over. Even though I was offered a few pokes and stuff like that, but I didn't take it, obviously. I didn't want to be bought out by some god, So, and especially because I had my own money there, and might as well use it because at the end of the day, it's only sitting there. And at the end of the day, it's only money. What about it? Who cares? As I always say to myself, it'll be money there when you're dead and gone. It's about enjoy you, because again, I know somebody that died of motor new on the seas, for example, and he had hundreds of thousands, literally probably 500,000 or so in money and stuff and assets and stuff. And at the end of the day, he died in his 50s and stuff like that. He never enjoyed life and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, that's what the money's there for. It's there to enjoy. You might as well use it when you're here, because I think that's the most important thing, But it wasn't like I was happy to pay it because I wouldn't have paid it if I was going to a country that wasn't safe and it wasn't nice and stuff, and people weren't nice and stuff. I wouldn't have paid it if it was Turkey or something like Egypt or something. I wouldn't have paid it. But it was the fact of the matter that people were pleasant and people were nice, and it was nice to walk the streets and etc., not be endangered or anything like that, and that you knew you were safe, etc. Take for example, my mother, sorry. Being in say, 60s, late 60s, she was able to walk around safely too and have no bother and nobody disturbed her or anything like that. And that's good because again in Dublin she probably wouldn't have, but she was afraid to go anywhere. I wouldn't really blame her because I was afraid, to be totally honest, to go down to Dublin, any street in Dublin. I was afraid to go down to Connor Street, so you can imagine what any other street would be like, the National Street. But I think this was the most important thing, and I didn't mean to go in here, but they said to go in. The people who were with me, the Social Democrats. So I think this is the most important thing to take out of anything, that journalism is the cornerstone of democracy. And again, the thing about the Finnish media is, and I have to say, there's no state-run propaganda machine like RT. The media are actually very fair in Finland because they are criticizing the Social Democrats. They're criticizing everybody. They're critiquing everybody. It's not just one side of the story. They're questioning everything, and that's what journalism is about: questioning everything. But yeah, no, it's quite expensive to get your hair done anyway. But that's in Helsinki. You have to remember, maybe outside Helsinki in a small town or something like, it wouldn't be as much. Um, but it was a mainstream shop too, like on the main street. But I wasn't. I didn't have a problem with it. But my mother thought it was quite steep. But yeah, the main reason, the main show for the Journalism Museum, obviously, say this thing. That's the only reason why I went to it, just to see that Santa was on the wall. And obviously, too, it was interesting to see the old cameras. Where was this? Yeah, this is the old camera from the 30s and things, and then it's the modern, most modern nearly camera. Then typewriters, etc., etc. Oh yeah, this goes over. I don't even know what this is. I remember seeing it, but I can't remember now what it was. This is a gas mask that was used during the fucking continuation war, etc., etc. Old telephone, etc., etc. I don't even know what this was. I remember asking about it, but I can't remember what they said to me was. It was some kind of vacuum or something. So this is the fire station. So the museum is in the fire station. It's still an active fire station. As you can see with the Finnish flags, they just have flags everywhere in Finland. They're just everywhere. So this is still an active fire station. Back in the day, obviously, there would have been no telephones, etc., etc. So they would have had to go. Some firefighters would have been on the top of this, looking out for fires, etc., etc. So that's how they would have reported fires. So it's one of the only kind in Europe. And then across the street was this nice building too. Like again, all the architecture is great. You can see all the detail. They're all well kept. Like look at this. This is all well kept for a country that's covered in snow half of the year. Like everything's well kept. All the buildings are well kept and well looked after. They're all well kept, and it's the same across the city. Anyway, David, we meet tomorrow. How does that sound? We're not bothered tonight. We talk tomorrow about it all. Yeah, so this is the fire museum too. It's interesting. The old fire hoses, old fire vehicles, etc. You can see the old hoses, etc. Different things. I know this is probably cut out a bit, but this is the old fire brigade, fire models, etc., etc. I know people are probably sick of it. For load, thank you. Okay. Aaron Brady liked this. I say, David, looking at the old wheel and stuff. Then this is an ambulance from the 1966. Again, some of these might be a bit blowy because again the lighting might have been not the best. Old fire uniforms, oh hats, more fire respirators, I suppose you got. There's a good lot of there's videos and stuff of it too, like old things. And here's did I show you this one? I think I did. So here's the old Irish pub. There's a big leprechaun on the street. So this is a church. You've probably seen in the Walk Church. You probably often heard of it. It's a nice Walk Church. You go inside and it's embedded into the Walk. It's a Lutheran church. And this is it here on the street. And obviously the Finnish flag, etc., everywhere. Just literally fucking everywhere. Then the old Irish pub. You can see the old Irish. Quite a lot of people too. A lot of Irish people, but some foreigners too. A lot of Americans. Then the train station. I think you've seen this, Fiona. The train station. So this is the central train station. As you've probably seen these yokes before. Big tower and then the trains, etc., etc. Then the Moomins. Obviously, David got this Moomin. This is my Moomin. I could have got you another one with the top hat. I don't know which. I should have asked you which one you wanted. What the David? So I could have got two top hat ones we wanted. So you've seen this one, I think, Fiona. That was the one you seen the flowers. Like they do this, and I've seen many of this around the city too. They use this to collect rainwater. Take for example. And they're well kept. Like, look at this for a place that's literally fucking frozen half of the year. They're well kept. Like these flowers, and they go on all up the street. These big, huge baskets of flowers, thousands and thousands of euro water baskets of flowers, all looked after by the city council. Like it's insane, and the amount of manpower they have is insane too. So this is an old mine too. That's from the war, like from the continuation war, and then Canada's from the Finnish Civil War. My throat is gone. Where was this? This is another Irish pub, Katie's Bar. Now this didn't feel Irish. This felt like a fake pub, a fake Irish pub, basically, just with the title. Now the poster behind the bar in this pub, I've like, to be totally honest with you, I want to hear his reaction to this now. He was nice and all, but listen to this bit. Listen to this. You won't believe it. He was asking me whereabouts in Ireland from. He was a Finnish person, right? He was from Finland. He wasn't an Irish person. He was asking me whereabouts in Ireland I'm from, and I was like, I'm from Cavan, near Northern Ireland. And he was like, I didn't know Northern Ireland. I said it was on the. He didn't. He was saying it's Northern Ireland, a different country, or it's a part of the Republic of Ireland. He didn't know, and basically I said it was under British occupation. Is the way I phrased it. And he was like, I never knew Northern Ireland wasn't a part of the Republic of Ireland. And I was like, just look like what? What? I was like, you're walking in an Irish pub and you don't know what the island of Ireland is. So, I was just like, what? Yeah, and he was a Finnish person. He wasn't an Irish person, but he was a Finnish person. And I was just like, what? I was like, where, what country do you, what? Like, what? I was very confused about that, to be totally honest. I think anybody would have been. I was very confused about the whole shebang. No, he didn't even know Northern Ireland. He thought Northern Ireland was a part of the Republic of Ireland. Didn't know it was not a part of the Republic of Ireland. That's what I mean. That's what he didn't know. He said, I didn't know that was not a part of the Republic of Ireland. I didn't know it was its own country, like its own place in another country, basically. And I was like, what? And you walk in an Irish pub. Admittedly, he's nice now, but I didn't know really what to say after all that. I genuinely didn't know really what to say. And I don't think anybody really knew around me what to say. Because there was sort of Irish people there. Some of them on holiday and some of them lived there. And obviously there's queer talk because some of them found out who I was, etc., etc. Now, thankfully, there's nobody from Leitrim there. Obviously, I was saying about we need to take over Leitrim, etc., etc. It's for the greater good, etc., etc. There was a few people there. There was a few Dubliners there, yeah. There was somebody from Cork there. I can't remember who, but we all didn't know really what to say when they already saying because literally you could hear a pin drop after he said that in the pub because everybody just basically looked at him like, "What? You walk in an Irish pub, And these are icebreakers, just to say during the winter. This is what they use to break the ice, and you can see sisu is what they use as the Wasilians, basically their term for guts and stuff. But I didn't really know what to say. But no, it's the fact of the matter that I don't think even knew what Northern Ireland was, to be totally honest. If that makes any sense, that's what I think everybody was confused about. This is the Uzbek Cathedral. This is the Orthodox Church, the biggest, largest Orthodox church in Eastern Europe. So this is from the Skyway, as you can see here. There's videos of it. I will put them up. You can see the presidential palace, etc., etc. There, obviously the Helsinki Cathedral in the background too. The ship going to Estonia, I think that is. As I said, $2.99 codes for two people, €5 each, $10.50. Quite expensive. This is the Civilians Monument, just to say that you can see them there. So this is the Uzbek Cathedral, very grand building. All this is gold up the top, just to say. As you can see here, all gold inside, etc., etc. There's more photos, like there's hundreds more we probably should put up. This was in the Helsinki Central Museum now. I should have more videos of the Uzbek Cathedral, but I need to put them up at some point. So as you can see the old wardrobe on the next one said. And then this is a model of the city, which is well done. You probably can't see it doesn't do it justice. It's too bright in that place. This is no radio and stuff like that, but back in the day. My throat is dying. So yeah, this is me in the Molly Malone bar. This was just literally down the street from where I was. Yeah. Not an awful lot of people with fucking blue hair, no red hair. Just blue hair everywhere. Oh yeah, there's more photos here. So you can see they didn't have Heineken. My mother was looking for Heineken in the pub, and they didn't have it in an Irish pub. So this is where we ended here. This is the first thing. So as you can see, they were digging out the statue around Alexander the First. So that's what they were doing there. So that's the first few pictures in Helsinki then. So it was very bright. So as you see, Alexander the First, they were taking out the flowers, the council. As you can see, the councilman there doing work there. And then the military parade, military band turned up. There's a video of it on the thing, and then the Molly Malone. So that's that for the moment. I hope there we are. I hope you're delighted because we're longer here than I thought it would be tonight. Yeah. I know I didn't really show around too much. Like I went off on my own for a good bit. I was with her for some of it, and then I was on my own for some of it, and then I was with other people for some of it. It was a bit of both. But she was safe enough going around the city, and that's what I'm saying. There was no harm. She went around shopping and done a few things. You know, I wasn't around her all the time. You know, if that makes any sense. I went off and done my own thing at a lot of stages too. Yeah, but she was safe enough again. That's the reason why too. If it was in Dublin, I wouldn't have left her alone. But if that makes any sense. It's a pity that we didn't go a few days earlier, because on the 4th there was a big military parade, etc., etc. So you would have probably liked that, like with tanks and stuff. So they're celebrating Mannerheim's birthday. Father's Day tomorrow, indeed it is. Yeah. So yeah, any other questions before we go? Because we're here longer. Imagine we were supposed to have gone 8:30. Imagine that. There's more things for me to show you, and obviously there's hundreds more stuff to put up. It's insane. We're all talking about eye colour now. Jesus. Are you still here, Davey? Anyway, we will wait tomorrow. It's a bit too late now to discuss all this. Is there any time particularly you want to meet now tomorrow, Davey? You know, is there any time particularly, like whenever suits you, it's what? Because I did I know it was probably last minute notice yesterday. Because there's just a lot going on, as you know yourself. There's a lot going on too today. Because when you come back from holiday, there's a lot of stuff, especially when I told nobody and there's too much. So yeah, this is just to say too. This just really sums up the Finnish people, what they take. So the current government in Finland has 259 days in government. Finland used to be the top of the world for human rights and for labor rights. For example, it's the fastest fall in history. It's driving down people into the breadline. Yeah, like this is just literally what's happening. It's just sinking the ship. Yeah, sometimes we probably with 7 or so, 6 tomorrow do. Sometime like that do. Now, I'm going to claim credit for this, just to say, and not credit, but maybe I'm going to claim the idea of this, not the idea, but you get what I'm saying. Now, brace yourself. Now, I know Sean's probably going to have a fit. Now, brace yourself. So, there is actually a Mona Sana. So, there actually is a Mona Sana, just to say. And it's in Tapua in Finland. So, that's another reason why we're going to go up to Tapua, even though there's a official photo of Sana in the city hall. The Mona Sana is in Tapua too. And it's probably going to be staying there. I know it says until February, into January 2025, but I think it's going to stay in this place. And this is an oil plating too, which is quite well done. So the Mona Sana. Now I'm going to claim the idea. Yeah, people just like mine's blown. Quite good. Sean just got. Yeah, and I don't know if it's better than my one now. Sean's just gobsmacked. He's all gobsmacked. Time to cut. So. Bam, 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 bam. Jesus, he's more worried about eye colour than the Mona Sana. Well, hopefully it's kept there, but it's presumably. Yeah, literally the Mona Sana. But there's another one in City Hall. Like, obviously, she used to be cats up there. But literally, we give them the idea, so I hope you're happy. So. Now, there is one more thing I have to show you. Now, brace yourselves for this. How much do you think I paid for this? How much did I pay for this? So, there was a toy shop down the road from where I was. A toy shop. Like, I wanted to buy a small little toy, basically, in the toy shop. Have a guess. Take how much was this? How much? You're a bit close, Sean. You're a bit close, but maybe go down a bit. Because you have to remember these were made in Finland too. Just no, a bit off with the 4 or something. Yeah, tiny bit off. Maybe a bit less, Sean, a bit less. I have the proof for this one now. I have all the receipts. Take one more guess, everybody. Take one more guess. See, can you get it? You're nearly there, but you're not quite there yet. Hello, sir. You're nearly there. You're very close. A bit more. Are we still going to be getting all night? Everybody take one more guess. Somebody have one more guess. Right, Sean has a 1990. Here we are, 1990. So basically, €30, basically. Long story short. For this. Now, there was a Finnish ambulance for €30. It was the same size as this. But you know what? So that's what I say. And all these toys were pretty much the same. €26. Yeah, that's what it's Finland. What do you expect? It's the Nordic countries. But yeah, so that's the price of that. I don't know. Do people think that was worth the thing? So it was made in Finland. That's the reason why. And all the toys are really much the same. Any kind of toy. There's nothing literally under 3 times the price. Yeah. Oh no, but everything literally was the same. Like there was another young girl buying it. He paid like again these toys were ranging from about what I said, €20 to €26 to €30. There's the other one, and then there was trains, like train models and stuff, for 100 and something euros. Yeah, I was going to get the Finnish ambulance one. It was a bit more bigger than it, but to be totally honest with you, I wasn't going to pay nearly €30. I know it sounds very mean, but for a small thing like this, so I only paid for the 21. So I went for the cheapest one, cavan people. Yeah, so basically you could say €30, Sean. Basically, because it literally says that 1990. You literally can say it's €30 basically for this. And And again, all the toys were pretty much like that. There was nothing literally under €10, basically. Let's put it out. Everything was that. But you have to remember, people go to college, go to university, and get good jobs, etc. Everybody has a degree in something in university, etc., etc. Because everything's free. The universities are free for the moment until the true things fuck it up. But you get what I'm saying. So people can get big degrees and become huge jobs that you and I would never think of in this country because things are free. Yeah, they do. Because again, they go to have free universities. We could walk in. People, if we were from Finland, we can walk into a university now and not pay a penny in the morning. Over here, you had to sell your lungs to afford a place. That's what people like. Because again, there was that woman. There's a few women, there was a few elderly women that were talking to in the stores and stuff. They have big degrees in business, and they were selling stuff in markets and stuff. They could go for jobs in business, but they make good money in selling stuff in the markets too and stuff like that. And they have degrees, and these women are nearly in their 60s, and they have degrees in business, etc., etc. Yeah. Like there's no such thing as tipping in hotels, etc., etc., because people get good wages and bars, except there's no such thing as tipping because people have huge wages. See, that's why. But again, the true Finns eventually will fuck it up. The university system and stuff still that. So, but it's a good thing because it allows people. Sana said it herself one time. Actually, she wouldn't be probably in the place she was in because again, she came from poverty too. She had to work 2 jobs back in the 80s, so no, the 90s, sorry, the early 2000s, to afford things. She had to work 2 jobs in the bakery and the shop. And again, her father was an alcoholic, etc., etc. And the mother was left on her own only for the Finnish welfare state, I suppose, looking after them. The state looking after them. She wouldn't be in the job she is now. And the same with education, only for free universities and college. She was the first one in her family to go to university. Again, it gives opportunity for people that doesn't have opportunity. Same with this country, but this country just fucks you over, basically. But that's what I'm saying. It gives people opportunity, and she probably wouldn't be in the position she was today if she didn't go to university, etc., etc. It gives people the opportunity that people didn't have years ago, and that's a good thing about it. That we should really appreciate it too. That people have an opportunity to become something, Yeah, like I would love to see the TDs in the doll here. How much that was. Yeah, but they make probably enough money. You're probably talking about them women they are. Like they have some big degrees in business. They went to college and done business degrees. But they make money in the stores, etc., etc., selling things and stuff. The Bible would make loads more. Again, a lot of people have just because again, when you have the opportunity to not pay a penny to go to college, university, do different degrees, you probably would take it. Like you would generally take, even though you might not need them, you take them. Just it's good on the CV, take for example. But the thing I like about it is good work-life balance. They care about your mental health and your well-being, etc., etc. Like whenever you say to your boss, you're having a hard time and you need a break, they give you a break. They have in the legislation, the government in Finland, if you say that to your boss that you feel overworked, etc., etc., they have to give you loads of time off, basically, full paid and all that. And obviously, maternity leave too is the highest in the world, more than a year for fathers. It's insane. Again, San and Maron brought it in, so we have to hope for that. Literally, very generous, basically, for maternity leave, and then time off too when your child's grown off, time for bonding with your child, etc., etc. And a good thing in Finland too, just to say, from talking to a few people with children, etc., etc., in Finland, the good thing about it, because no mother and father, Sanna said herself one time, no mother and father ever said they didn't want to spend loads of time with the children or don't want to spend more time with the children. That's why in Finland they don't go to school. They don't go to primary to the 7. Imagine that, to 7 years old, they don't go to primary school. Because they want you to spend more time with your parents and enjoy life. Because again, I suppose nowadays young people, children don't enjoy life as much as we did back years ago. We're too glued into the phones, etc. Don't look around the beautiful world we have. The beautiful environment, etc., etc., the great gift we have of life, and it's important to remember it's a good thing, and especially because that time off too for fathers and mothers, after way after until they get older, they can have time off to spend with their children, and I do think that's important here to have really too. because I don't think parents spend enough time with their children. Again, there's never enough time, basically. And I think that's really, really good. We totally answer. Well, I don't think it ever would walk here. We totally answer, unfortunately. Especially 7, Yeah, well, obviously not in the winter. Obviously not in the winter in Finland. You probably did. But yeah, no, even when I was on the streets in Helsinki, there was children walking around with their teachers, etc., etc., in the parks, etc., etc., going out for walks. Imagine that. You go to school to go to walks and be around nature. Like these are children of 7 and 8 upwards in primary school. They go out for a little walk. And that's a part of the curriculum. They have less hours. They only go to school for 4 hours a day or something like that. They're barely in school and they do very, very well in school. Because it's something to do with just the way they teach and the mindset, I suppose, of schools and stuff. Because again, it would work here, but take years to implement. But it's good because they were great. The 7 and 8-year-olds just looking around and enjoying things. But yeah, they go for walks and stuff, and it's good. Like I've seen them many times, and it's great. In parks and stuff, and they're just enjoying life, and that's just it. At the end of the day, I don't think money or stuff matters to people in Finland. I think it's just about, and this is the thing, it's about, and I know the the 2 people from the Social Democrats I know would say the same thing. It's about enjoying the moment. It's about enjoying the moment in life, enjoying being alive, being able to breathe, being able to walk. It's, as one of them said to me, it's about even just sitting, having tea and having coffee, just appreciating having a coffee and sitting down and relax, appreciating the moment, being living in the moment, if that makes any sense. And I think that's why they're happy, because they appreciate, even though some people might have much and stuff like that, but they appreciate what they have. Because I asked the 2 of them too, just take for example, this is a perfect example. They're in the Social Democrats. I was like to them, would you not want as an MP or councillor? Even though one of them is high, he's high up in the finance section of the Social Democrats. He's very high in it. He could run as an MP if he wanted to in the morning. And he's like, no, I don't care. I'm happy enough. I have a girlfriend, I have a job, I have a car, I have my own house. I don't care. No, I do want a bigger house or anything like that. No, he's just happy with what he has. He's just happy for what he has. He doesn't want more. But see, I think in Finland too, because nobody wants more. When they have a house and when they have a car and they have a life and stuff like that, they're not over here. We want more. Irish people want more. We want a bigger house. We want this. We want a new car. Like remember all the teachers in school, they always wanted new cars and this, that, Over in Finland, they're just like, I have a car. I have a house. I don't really care after that. I'm just happy. And I think that's they like the simple life. They don't like living in luxury and stuff like that. They're just like the basic stuff. And it's just basic day-to-day life that they enjoy. And I think that's why they're happy. And I can see why they're the happiest country in the world. It might not show it, but when you're really looking deeply, you can see that they are very happy inside. They're very content with life. They love the moment. They love living the moment. As a socialist, bit of a green. No, I'm not a socialist. No, not that. No, I'm not that. But I suppose in the far right government, well, it is literally, I would nearly call it far right because it is extremist, really, government in Finland at the moment, in what they want to propose. Again, limiting take for example, the anti-lockdown protests. I went to one. Anti-abortion protests or whatever. Take, for example, if the government don't like your protests, what they're bringing in now, if they get away with it, the truth is, they could ban you for sending the police to shut you up and lock you up for the rest of your life. That's what they could do, because that's what they're passing. If you disagree with the government on anything, the government disagrees with you, they're going to lock you up. If you are distant, if you protest against the government, because at the moment there's huge protests about what's happening. So that's what they want to propose. They already limited the right for people to strike. Take, for example, you work on the job now, and the employee treats you like shit. You have no right to strike. They've limited that. You could be arrested for striking. That's what I'm saying. That's extremist. That literally is the definition of extremist. And especially too when they promise so much stuff. The true Finns promised we wouldn't do this, we wouldn't do that, and they turned around and done it. And especially too when they isolated their own following. Take for example, they said they wanted to leave the European Union. For years they were jumping up and down about leaving the European Union. And now when they're in government and they have the position now, they could have an election about it. They have a referendum to say to leave the European Union if they wanted to. They very quietly take it out of the manifesto that they never intended to leave the European Union. The same with the Conservatives in Finland too. So they basically isolated their own voters, the only Joe in Finland. They've basically fucked everybody over in every conceivable way. As I said about that 75-year-old woman, her father was in the continuation war. She's 75. She worked all her life. She's a Finnish citizen. She never moved anywhere. She's always lived in Finland all her life. And they're fucking her over, and they're supposed to be the true Finns, supporting the true Finns, not anybody else but the true Finns, like Sinn Féin and ourselves. So much for ourselves, it's about, it's the same as Sinn Féin. If they got in them on, that's what they would do. Yeah, like they just appreciate the moment. They appreciate nature, going out for walks, etc., etc. Yeah, well, as I said before, priests and nuns and stuff like that, I think you should bypass priests and nuns and stuff like that, because I think it's better to directly engage in prayer. What I mean by that is pray yourself, etc., etc., not rely on priests and nuns to pray for you. Because let's be fair, the priests and nuns have let people down something fierce in this country. Now, there is good nuns and priests, of course, but the vast majority of years ago were cruel, cruel bastards. And I use that word, the harshest possible terms. Evil, evil bastards. They took advantage of their positions to abuse children, etc., etc. And there's a special place in hell for them. And that's all I say, in the fiery pits of hell for the rest of eternal life. Because again, the evil bastards. But yeah. Yeah, they're giving out at the moment. They're not happy. Usually they were happy. As I say, they never usually cared. People in Finland just elected their government and they expected them to. They trusted them. There's always trust in governments in Finland. So far at the moment, the government in Finland, usually it's Anna Mauan, the woman behind me, had 80% trust in her during COVID, etc., etc. The public trust. They don't measure by support. It's about public trust. That's the way they measure it over there. Do you trust the government? And usually Finland is the country in the world that has the highest trust in the government. At the moment in time, it's the lowest ever in Finland's history. The government's trust and the people's trust in the government for what they've done. Again, limiting the right. It's the same with the Irish government came along them on. In fairness, they haven't done it yet, the Irish government, but they might do it soon. They haven't said, if we protest now about the amount of people coming into the country, the government could say that's extremist, we'll shut you down. This is anti-government. Send in the army. That's what they do in Finland. They shut you up and take away your rights. And that's what they're going down, and that's as simple as that. And it's it is extremist. And regardless of what it was, the Irish Freedom Party or whatever party got into government here in the morning, if they'd done the same thing here, I would call it out too. Because it's going down a very dark path, basically, when you go down that road. And I think it's important, especially because Finnish people don't want it. They elected the government thinking they do something maybe different. Because again, they didn't have a huge mandate. They barely got in. The Social Democrats were basically on their heels too. But it's basically guaranteed that the Social Democrats, this woman might be back as the Prime Minister sooner or later. Because they had literally the amount of no confidence motions in the government, the true Finns, etc., etc. It must be about 50 at this stage, because every day of the week they're fucking themselves over something fierce. Yeah, all Scandinavian countries, because again, they have to pay for the welfare state, you have to remember. They pay for free education, free universal healthcare, the police, particularly in Finland, the military. It's a huge expenditure, conscription there. And just to say on conscription too, it wouldn't work here, but over in Finland, people were willing to go. This young man I was talking to in their uniforms on the street, and they're willing to go. And the reason why they're willing to go, and this is the thing they have to realize in the UK, is the government is actually incentivizing it, because they got free education. They could go to university and get a better job after the conscription. And not even that. They can buy a house. They can buy a house. They can rent the house. They can actually live a life. They can actually have some kind of life. And so that's why so they feel when they're given this by the state, by the Finnish people, the ability, because there's huge grants for people to buy houses and rent houses for the moment, unless the true Finns fuck that up too. But they feel obligated to give something back to the state to defend Finland. Obviously, it's a huge, because again, the majority of Finns have, going back to the Winter War continuation war, their grandfathers would have been in it. So there's a huge history there, and there's a huge tradition, I suppose, in protecting Finland. You get what I'm saying. But why is what? Why is that what? Yeah, they're very good in wheelchairs and stuff. They're very considerate to people. They think ahead. They ought to have think. They do think ahead. They do think towards the future, etc., etc. Not short time planners. Like take for example, all the subways are bomb proof, etc., etc. But for eventually, if there ever was a war, um, they're all kitted out to hose. Like there's loads of bunkers. They've just high tech places. Yeah, maybe so, but in Finland too, because again they give the baby box, etc. So I've seen, I looked about it too, but um, they still have incentive to have children, as I say, but maternity leave, it's loads of time off, and then even not even after your maternity leave, you have time off after that, and then the government, even maybe the true Finns now, but when she was in power, it was a very pro Willie family. To be totally honest, it was generally probably it was Willie pro family because they were incentivizing people to have kids. They want people to have kids, children in Finland, um, and the baby box, etc., and free education, free healthcare. Nobody has to really worry about having a child in financial terms at the moment. It's not a financial burden. It's not a financial thing like over here. And people can actually afford a house to rent the house and buy a house. That's what I mean. So people can actually have a child. Over here, that's the issue. That people don't have a place to have a child, to have a bedroom for the child or anything like that. But over there, it is feasible because only 30-year-olds take, for example, only about 8% of them live at home with their parents. Majority have an apartment. That's what I'm saying is insane. When you consider Ireland's nearly 70% to 80%. It's a huge, it's something we could learn a lot from, like from Finland. That's what I'm saying. Say if we had the cop on, basically. But at the moment, it's the true Finns continue the way they're going. There'll be nothing left of Finland, to be totally honest. But it's fair to say they're going to be, they already. Let's be fair. The angle that's there at the moment, as I said, it's a silent revolution at the moment in Finland. Like they will be got rid of the government. They're going to be just annihilated. There's not going to be such thing as the true Finns, the Conservative Party in the next election. Because he's seen with Lie Anderson take, for example, 250,000 votes, top the poll in 8 of the 13 constituencies. Huge anti-government poll. Because again, you have to remember Lie Anderson was the person that was the front spokesman calling out the government on different things. So, to have that, the true Finns to be shaken in the boots. Because the Left Alliance, being such a small party, be like the Social Democrats here, for them to get 500,000 votes between the three candidates, that's insane. Compared to Lions have done better than the whole parties put together nearly. It's insane. Like again, just to put in perspective, Lions and the amount of votes she got, take example, it's nearly the same as the third biggest party in Finland, just to say. So nearly the Social Democrats are the most popular party, with the true Finns, basically. So all them put together, basically, it's not nearly Lions from one person. Which is quite an amazing thing. But no, there's no really way for. There's some Ukrainians. There's more Ukrainians than here. But again, as they said to me, it's all nearly finished. People, 95% of the people on the streets of Helsinki and all the cities are finished. Like nobody has the incentive to move away. The way in Ireland people are getting fucked over every day of the week. Why would you leave if you couldn't buy a house in Finland and raise a family and stuff? Like nobody has the incentive. As one of the Social Democrats said to me, I wouldn't leave because I have everything here. I have everything I want, and that's the thing. But no, it's very strict. As I said, the border guards, must be 40 of them at the airport with heavily armed guns, machine guns. Like they're ready for anybody to come in, basically. Like no, they're very strict now. They wouldn't let anybody in. No, they are very strict in that now. There's not would you believe we're taking in more Ukrainians than Finland has taken in. Finland has only taken in about 50,000. We're taking probably nearly 200,000, just to say. Because again, guess what they're checking? Even when the Social Democrats, they're checking their passports. They're checking who they are. They're not letting them in until they know who they are before they let them in. And even the debt, as one person said to me, one fellow from Africa came into Finland one time. He caused trouble. Straight away, gone, get out. And that was Joan Sanham time, because they won't tolerate people acting the maggot. There's only about 3,000 people in prison in Finland, just to say. Like, they won't tolerate anybody that's going to cause trouble. They're all about rules, and as I say, about crossing the street. Everybody waits for the green man. I had to wait. Everybody has to wait because they follow the rules. They want to follow the rules. They're all about law and order. You get what I'm saying? Like I said with the green man, even though there was literally nothing coming at some stages, there was literally no cow on the road. Everybody stood and waited for the green man before the crossover because it's the rules of the unspoken rules in Finland. It's the same with putting your litter into the bin, etc., picking up after your dog. You have respect for your environment. You have respect for the other person beside you. You have respect. That's all about. It's about having trust. That's the thing. And they won't really tolerate somebody that's going to come over and cause trouble. That's what you have to understand. It's even though it's a social democracy, they always have been very strict. The same with Denmark. Denmark's a social democracy, and they're extremely strict on immigration. Because again, I'm sure they've seen what happened to Sweden, and they're probably like, we don't really want that here. So, that's what they're taking of. No, but they are strict now. Because you can tell by looking at the police too that they won't take no bullshit off you if you cause them any issues. Like they are strict. Like even me going through the airport, you can tell that they are very serious just at the airport. I wouldn't want to be claiming asylum now because they would probably come with 50 of them. Because there's loads of border guards everywhere, heavily armed border guards, etc., etc. And they're very, very, very formative what they were doing with this things because the Irish authorities just looked at my passport and let me in and didn't really care. Over in Finland, they were asking me what hotel, etc., etc. Except they were asking me where I was staying, etc., what date and what time would it be going at. Like they were actually out because if it wasn't gone, they probably were going to follow it up to make sure there wasn't illegal in the country. So like that's what I'm saying in the way into Finland. So the strict when you hear that kind of stuff, they're strict. But they're more strict than the Irish authorities, isn't it? Like they are very strict, and it's not an easy country to get in, especially if you're not an EU citizen, might be a bit more complicated. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They've probably seen Sweden and they were like, we don't really want that. But I say if I caused any trouble there, I would have been straight on the plane and off you go, out you go. And they wouldn't have I don't think they would have took any bullshit. Because as I say, Ireland has, God only knows how many people in prison here. And in Finland, it's only 3,000, 4,000. It's very limited. And the majority are open prisons too. But again, the thing about it is, and this is what I looked at too when I was in Finland, majority of people, you break into a house, take for example, you won't break the law again. You go to prison and you change man, basically. They have a wee education program, etc., etc., to put you on the straight and narrow. And usually when they do that, 9 out of 10 times it works, basically. So that's what I'm saying. The way you educate people back and say, what happens here is when you rob a shop or anything like that, you're in prison for a month or two, and then you get out. And then you do the same thing again, and then end up in prison for another month. Then you come out and you do the same thing again. And it's just a constant. The cycle keeps repeating. In Finland, once you break the law, once they put you in the wee education program, they try to integrate you into society, get you a job, do things to try and make sure that you have a stable life, that you won't go to crime, etc., etc. But maybe because I was an Irish citizen, because they didn't really seem to care. But in Finland, they did care who was. Because I probably was shocked that an Irish person was coming here. Because the only thing I had to do when I went into Parliament, would you believe it was easier getting into Parliament than it was getting into the country, Finland. It was easier. The check by the border, the Secret Service, the Finnish Secret Service, it wasn't the Secret Service, I was the military police. That's who would check my passport at the gate of the Parliament. I had to go into the VIP, like the parliamentary visitors. Like I had a tag and all that, but they just checked my passport to see who it was it the white person, etc. And that was it. In Finland there was 100 million things that they do before I got into the country. Not even just for passport control, asking questions, etc. And then going through metal detectors, taking out all your luggage and stuff. They didn't take out all my luggage, but I had to empty my pockets, etc., etc. And then obviously with the border guards staring you down, like everywhere, like one behind you, one here or there, everywhere. They're just standing everywhere. And the military, the Finnish military were outside too, like just patrolling and stuff. Like I can only imagine how bad it is in the Russian border because uh, there's a lot of stuff. So I say they're very tough because again the Finnish Russian border is closed. You can't get across it. Um, so, well, see, Russia was trying to bring in loads of people from the Middle East into Finland, and that's why they closed the border because Russia was trying to overwhelm Finland with immigrants, and obviously Finland was having none of it. So they just closed the border. There was no such thing. We can't close the border. You remember what they say here? We can't do that. We can't close our borders. In Finland, they're just like, yeah, we're going to close our borders. Same with, I think there's extra patrols too on the Swedish Norwegian border of Finland. Like, they are a strict country when it comes to immigration, even though, before there was social democracy, it always really was a strict country. Same with Denmark, it's strict too. Like, social democracies can be strict, basically, that's what I'm trying to say. But it is too easy to get into Ireland. But obviously, being an Irish citizen, what could I really do? I wouldn't mind if somebody come and claim an asylum. They didn't really care. The woman on the thing was just like, yeah, that's grand. That was it. Just looked in my face and was like, yeah, you're the white person. That was about it. But it is quite intimidating having 60 border guards literally around the place with heavily armed border guards staring you down, basically. Even though they wouldn't do anything, I said they're probably genuine nice people, but again, they have to be there for a reason, I suppose. Because again, at Dublin Airport, there was nobody with guns or anything. There was no police. There was nobody at all, apart from the people at the gate when they're checking your passport and stuff like that. But there wasn't armed security of border guards. Not just like only security. Do. Sorry about that. Whoa. Yeah, like I don't think you get into Finland unless you're a genuine person. I wouldn't like it. That's just for somebody coming into the country for a week. So imagine if you claim asylum, how bad it would be. So I wouldn't want to be claiming asylum. That's what because again, you have to remember they took less people in from Ukraine, even though they're very pro-Ukraine. They're only taking about 50,000. We've taken probably 200,000, and they're closer to Finland too. They're closer to Ukraine. Yeah, there's a lot to take in, but we could learn a lot if we used our brains. Because again, the House and Force initiative in Finland has worked wonders in Finland compared to the 1980s. As I said, it used to be a huge problem in Helsinki in Finland in general. And then when they brought in the House and Force in the 80s, house and the homelessness is literally rock bottom. There's literally nobody homeless because they have apartments and stuff for homeless people. And they have good services, etc., etc. And there's a documentary on YouTube about it too. But it's basically non-existent now in modern day Finland. But again, the true Finns are there, so they might make it a huge thing. Because again, they're literally pushing people to the breadline at the moment. So that's the thing. So Finland could be changed now within the next year. It might not. This good services, etc., could cease to exist under the true Finns and the Conservatives. So that's why I say it's better with a social democracy. The way it has been for a long time, I suppose, in Finland. More than the government that is in the moment, if that makes any sense. I say no, but just going back to the night McConnell was here too. He probably was very confused, but I said that was the first time he probably seen that. So I say he was pretty confused with that. No, because it would have been a long time to explain all this, and then to explain that it was open Finland too, and all that. You might somebody might think it might be how do you put it? In the pocket of the Finns. Instead of the Russians, it's the Finns. He's in the pocket of the Finns. He's working for the Finns. Instead, he's working for the Russians. He's working for the Finns. Imagine saying that. I always knew that Adrian Fell was working for the Finns. But there was one thing I didn't like. There was a cafe within Cafe Fraser, I think it was called. That's what it was called, Cafe Fraser. And it was the only place I had a postcard, not the postcards, but an on-post travel card, if that makes sense. That along with cash, and loads more cash than on the card. But right, long story short, I went into this cafe, right, thinking it was cash because every other place was cash. People what cash? People rather use cash in Finland than card. I never really had to use it much. Fraser, something like that. But long story short, it was the first cafe I was ever in my life. They didn't take anything else but card. They didn't want anything else but card. They wouldn't take the cash. I was like, fuck you. So I walked out and goodbye. So I didn't go in. Because every other place in Finland took cash, no bother. There was no issue. The only time I had to use was on the plane when I got a drink. Finnair doesn't take cash. Better. I think we'll probably leave it there because I've been on for nearly 4 hours. Didn't plan to be here for 4 hours. Excuse me. See, this is what happens when I just don't shut the fuck up. But anyway, I probably went on for too long. So anything else before we go? Because we were meant to imagine we were supposed to be gone 8:30. Think about that for a second. I'm assuming there's nothing. Right, I think we'll leave it there for tonight. We'll probably be back Tuesday or Monday now. We'll talk about the election stuff. There'll probably be other videos out before that. But we'll leave it there for the moment. Thank you, Evan. I appreciate you for being here. I know it's been quite a long stream and stuff, a lot of stuff, and never shut up. But anyway, thank you, everyone. I appreciate it again. Talk to you again, and goodbye.